Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another Thursday night live stream. I'm excited to spend my night with you. Let me know in the comments. This is our usual drill. Drop your city and state. Let me know where you are watching. And we have Kenny. He has been in the running first in the comments for the last couple of weeks. So shout out to you, Kenny. Now, what happens to him after he comments? Lord knows, because he'd be going missing and then coming to show super late. But kudos to you when you do watch this. It'll be interesting to see when you actually get on. Anyway, if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the show. My name is Yonci. I am everywhere on social media as Chasing Yonci, and I am very curious to understand men. My motivation was very selfish. I wanted to be the best wife possible, so I started asking men on social media, practical strangers, if they would share their thoughts on things so I could start to see trends and all that. And so it landed us here. And now I am 10 years later, still asking men questions, but this time I'm passing on the tea to women. So if you want to find out what the guys say every day to my questions, you can join on my Patreon page and see all their answers. Or you could stick around and wait, and we cover some of them in my show on Thursday nights. A couple of announcements before we get into it. My singles database is now 2 months in, and we've been seeing a lot of success with it. So if you want to subscribe to the singles database, head on over to my Instagram page, or you can even drop me a comment here and I'll respond with the link. I really should put it in the description, but I have it. So shoot me, or don't actually. And head on over to Instagram. You can hit the link. It says singles database, and you can be added to the singles database. Basically, this is just a way for the men on my men's page to see which ladies are single, and it gives all of their stats. Something brand new that I am rolling out. We had our first one this month, because it was the beginning of April. We have a Q&A session. And so you guys can meet up privately in a Zoom call. It's a group session, but you meet, it's not broadcast anywhere. It's just on Zoom. And you can ask the guys any questions that you want. The ladies who attended said they loved it. They want to come back for more. So if you are interested in doing that, you can go ahead and click on Q&A again on Instagram, and you can get the invitation to be invited each month on Zoom. And last but not least, when it comes to announcements, if you want to join my 8-week coaching program, the next group starts in May. So go ahead and click on the dating manual and get more information. You can even set up a free consultation to get more information. All right, so let me go ahead and see who is here in the audience. Y'all, I tried last week to use these presets, but it was struggle bus because they had to keep adding people to the stage every single time. But good to have you on the show, Willie. Thanks for joining in.
You're welcome.
So as you guys can see, he does not have a fictitious Instagram name this time. So go ahead and follow at the new handle he has listed here if you want to see some new content. How was your week, sir?
Eventful.
Yeah. We're going to just leave it at that.
Eventful. That's what it was.
Well, I'm glad to have you. Thank you for being on time. We've got a few others who are going to be joining us, but they're running a little bit late. So I was debating whether or not we should even put the first question up, because I realized it's so similar to one that we had a couple weeks ago, and we really beat it to death. It's the one about cleaning, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show the video, and then we can see if there's anything that needs to be said. Otherwise, we'll just move on down the road.
Okay. Yeah, because we don't.
So, Kenny is already on. Shock of all shocks. Well, hello, Kenny. The reason why I felt this was interesting, I feel a sneeze coming on, so pardon me in advance if it does, is because I noticed that all of these things that he's doing are messes that he himself are creating. And so in the comments, the guys were going crazy saying, oh, she must pay the bills and all that. And so I thought, why is it that people associate picking up after another adult with finances? So if he was the one bringing the majority of the finances, he should have to pick up, what is it? She can just leave messes around. You know what I'm saying? Basically, my idea is there's such a thing as just taking pride in cleaning up after yourself, whether or not finances are involved. But like I said, we've talked about this ad nauseum. But let me know if you have any thoughts you want to weigh in.
I don't think that anybody thinks that a woman is supposed to clean up after them. But we men who can actually provide the type of lifestyle these women are talking about in this scenario, we do feel that the trade-off from you being supported and what do we say, taken care of, is that you do the majority of the housework. So fair trade. I mean, if you want to pay half the bills, I don't know that many people would trade, paying half their bills for doing half the housework. If they had,
I think housework is reasonable. Like,
yeah.
I think of laundry, cooking, buying stuff. That stuff I think is fair.
All of that stuff is meaning the same. Like, he had a load of clothes that probably came out the dryer. I mean, not trying to be funny, but I'm not doing laundry in my house. I don't do laundry in my house now. But when I'm married, I'm also not doing laundry in my house either. Because, again, I pay for 120% of what's in this house. Uh-huh. So, folding laundry is the last thing I'm doing.
Now, see, I can give you a little wiggle room. You're not on camera. I can give you a little wiggle room with the laundry because to me, that's part of a chore. You are so sweet. I forgot to ask for cheese. Oh, dang, that's a huge portion. My little girl brought me some chili. Thank you. The laundry. What'd you say?
We're gonna be hot in a minute.
The laundry I get because that could be just done as a task, but somebody walking around and dropping little messes, I said that it just personally hurts me.
Yeah, that's crazy. But like the stuff in this video, if bro gets up, another thing, if I go to my refrigerator and I drink out of a juice carton, I just drink out of a juice carton. But also, men don't do that when we think there's a lot left that somebody else is going to drink after as well. That's another thing. And then two, and if we did, like the stuff that we do to each other in bed, I don't think that you're worried about drinking after me, or vice versa. Or when bro put the cup in the sink, he put a cup in the sink. So, like,
there's a dishwasher.
So again, like, he put a cup in the sink. It's not like he's got, they don't let you wash this at the end of the day, right? That's what I do. I try to wash my dishes at the end of every day. And then I put them in the dishwasher and let them run whatever. But all the stuff in this video is just super, it's like catastrophizing the idea that anytime a man does something in his home, and then it's under the guise of when your wife makes your husband a better person. That's not true either, because a kept wife is not going to care about none of that.
So I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree on this, because even if I was a multimillionaire and my guy was a stay-at-home, dad, I would not just leave my stuff lying around.
You're a woman.
Huh?
You're a woman though. Like, that trying to be funny. Y'all are taught to clean from the time y'all are little. Like, y'all play house and do stuff as kids. So like,
I used to be lazy as hell. I had to become this. I wasn't.
Right. But we're saying, and generally speaking, little girls are taught to be homely. Well, excuse me, unless they're raised by these modern women, because then they're taught to be whores. But if they're taught to be homely, like they're cooking, cleaning, playing house, all that other stuff, right? That's what girls do.
You're saying your mom and your teachers didn't tell you clean up, everybody clean up. You guys were taught to clean?
No, and I went to private school till I was in junior high. So no, we were taught to read the Bible and pray to make things clean.
So your mom just let you leave your room messy? She just let you just walk around and leave dishes in your sink?
My dad made me clean my room as a sign of discipline. But for the house, my stepmother cleaned the house.
No, I don't mean cleaning the house. I'm saying you decided you want to play Legos, and so you took a bunch of Legos out and you just left them, and your family just cleaned up after you?
Sometimes, yeah. But then my dad stepped in, and he was the one that, hey, you clean up after yourself. And it wasn't a sign. It was a sign of respect because I was a child. Now, my dad would leave stuff out, and he'd leave it on the table. My stepmom put it up because she didn't care. It wasn't even worth her having an issue with. And also, it's not something that we do 24/7, 365. It will happen though. Like he would take his gun apart, leave gun cleaning stuff out. She put it where it goes because he got tired. He's working 12, 14 hours a day. She didn't bother him with that type of stuff. And it just seems like now, she didn't bother that type of stuff because I feel like she appreciated everything that he had to do to provide the lifestyle that he had, that she was able to benefit from. So she didn't care about, okay, oh my God, he left his gym clothes in his gym bag and he didn't put them in the dirty clothes so I can wash them. She just went and got it from his gym bag and washed them. Like it's a lot of this stuff just seems real petty, but it's also because of, for me personally, and I think guys that are in similar positions when with their women, it's just like that stuff is petty. Because if you go one for one, like, well, you had to wash dishes, I had to wash a sink full of dishes. I had to sit in a boardroom full of grown men and tell them what to do so I could earn this check to provide for this house.
Like, and that's why I never want to be in that dynamic again where the man is the 100% provider, because that dynamic, and it may be because of how I grew up and things that I've seen, but that is so cringy to me. Mm-hmm. So cringy that, you work your however many hours a day, but then you just completely check out in the house. I prefer to share the bills and share the responsibilities, and also every person clean up after themselves. So welcome, Jacob.
You said completely check out of the house. No one is saying that we do that either. It's not completely check out. There's just certain things we don't do. Because again, like but women tend to act like, or when they talk about this conversation, it's only about the housekeeping stuff, like the cooking, cleaning, picking up, and doing laundry. They don't think about all the other stuff that we have to do that we don't ask you guys to help with. Because again, if we put stuff down the middle, again, I'll just say this: in a relationship, if you split every act that one person has to do, that is like a physical thing, like cooking, cleaning, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. If you split those, women are doing 20% of those things, men are doing the 80%, because the stuff that we have to do, one, is typically more dangerous and stressful than what y'all have to do. For example, you may have to pick up my shoes. So my girl may have to pick up my shoes and put them somewhere once a week, right? In that week, I have probably had to go out somewhere with her and protect her. I've had to go out somewhere with her at least 2 or 3 times we can pay for everything. I've also had to drive everywhere. I've also had to fill up my car and hers, make sure her car is detailed, and so is mine. I've also had to provide her a car. So to me, in my mind, the fact that once a week she's had to pick up my shoes, I could care less about.
And that's why I say I wouldn't want him to be paying for my car and having to detail. I wouldn't want those things. If in exchange it means that he won't clean up after himself. Like, we just had a cleaning lady come yesterday, and we literally went and picked up the house before she came. Any little odds and ends that were on the nightstand, anything that was out, there were breakfast dishes. We were like scrambling to wash them.
Wow, you paid that?
Huh?
You paid that what you paid for?
Not us.
No. The way that the same thing, mind you, I get you, because I clean before my people come. Because one, every now and then, I have a soda can out in the sink upside down drain. I don't want them coming and having to pick that up. However, I'm not going to deep clean anything because, again,
hell no,
I'm paying these people, good money. But just remember, what I'm saying is that the trade-off for what I'm doing, to provide, there is no trade-off that you have to do it all the time. But there will be times when you will have to do it. So, and I just don't think that the majority of women will trade having 100% of their lifestyle provided for them for never have to pick up a pair of shoes or never having to wash a sink full of dishes that a man has left there. Or like the one thing that we didn't agree on was the part about taking out the trash. Take out the trash is removing the trash can. It's not putting a trash can liner in there. I'll die on that hill. But I don't think that there are many women who will trade the lifestyle that they want, like their dream lifestyle. They would choose to go 50-50 with the guy if it meant that they never had to pick up after him ever.
So let me introduce this to Keisha. Welcome to the show. Welcome, Jacob. We have talked about this before, but there was a new video that popped up where I said, hey, let's rehash it for the 100th time. But we're talking about the difference between picking up after a person versus domestic duties. So I gave the example of, if I hire a cleaning lady, she's getting paid. She will do it either way without making an issue. But I personally draw the line with her washing dishes. To me, I'm a grown adult. I can wash my own dishes. Now, if she's a housekeeper, that's different. But if she's cleaning, she's coming in and cleaning toilets. I want her getting floorboards. I want her mopping. I want her doing that stuff. I have, we all make our beds. Like, even though she would make our beds, to me, there are just certain things. Same thing in a hotel. I know that housekeeping is paid for. Housekeeping is going to come in, but you're not going to see me with pizza boxes and empty soda cans. I'm going to throw that stuff away. That's just me. And I carry that into my household. I feel like there are certain things as adults that, in my personal preference, I'm not saying everybody has to have this, but in my preference, you pick up after yourself. If you lay on the couch and you watch a movie and you have a blanket and that blanket started out in the basket, put it back in the basket. If you are reading a book and you just leave it on the couch, put it back on the bookshelf. So I'm saying that. Now, if I cook dinner, I don't mind cleaning up everyone's dishes. But walking around picking up after people, to me, is not the best use of my time.
If you cook dinner, you shouldn't wash dishes.
Right. I agree, but we're talking about in a scenario where the person is taking on domestic duties.
Even still. So I pay 100% of the bills if my woman cooks. She's still not washing dishes.
I love that. I mean, that's how I was raised. Whoever cooks doesn't have to clean. Yeah, what'd you say?
I said you're rare, Willie, because
I'm not rare at all.
I don't see a lot of men washing dishes. I'm not gonna lie.
Because we're just not talking about it because it's petty to us.
I don't see it. I don't see it with my own eyes. I didn't grow up seeing that. I never saw my uncle. Like, that's not something I grew up seeing or see present day.
My pops did it, and then for like my biological mom, I mean, she was always by herself, but over there, I definitely didn't have to do much of anything other than not go to jail and get decent grades. She took care of most stuff when I was at her house, but being raised by my father, he never. I mean,
I think that we on question 1, right? Yeah. So I just think that the it's an outdated gender role thing where you supposed to do. Willie, you ain't even let me say nothing, man. Dang. You ready to beat me up? I just got in here.
I didn't say nothing.
You ain't had to say nothing.
His face was screaming. I had to turn the volume down.
Go ahead.
I said outdated gender roles. I said I think that a lot of this is rooted in outdated gender roles where for so long women are supposed to cook, clean, and men are financial providers. I said outdated. But I'm kind of like you. I think I came in when you was talking about having a maid come in and do different things. I was laughing because I have somebody come clean my house and she cleaned everything. I don't know, the dishes be gone, my bed is made, all that is done. I pay a pretty good amount. I pay for convenience, so I need you to do that.
Hey, I got an army come over here. You got 6 girls that show up. They have my house done in an hour. But I do agree with Yonci about not washing dishes because I don't let them wash dishes. But when I tell you, they do everything from hang my clothes up, they iron my clothes, the stuff that I need. They change my bed sheets and then cleaning up my kids. Cleaning up my.
You know what I'm saying? So about convenience, I'm gonna pay for the things that I don't want to do. And
I don't make them clean my kids' room because my kids don't deserve housekeeping. They haven't done anything to deserve that outside of coming out of my balls. So by default, I'm not putting them. They skip those rooms altogether. Like their room can look like a tornado hit it, and as long as that room looks like that, then I'm not gonna pay for it. But if they were actually cleaning their room without being told and doing stuff like that, I might let them slide in there and do a little vacuuming. Dust off his gaming computer or clean his TV because somehow he puts fingerprints all over it. But there's no way I'd have my kids' room like.
Welcome to the show, Greg. When you first came on and you had the little thumbnail at the bottom, you look like a man of the cloth because you had the little white collar showing, and then the thing. I was like, "Ooh, who's coming on the show?" So we are talking about this super old topic because this other video popped up, like I was saying. So we're having a friendly debate about whether or not adults should pick up after themselves when they're walking around the house, basically.
We never talked about to be honest, if a man loves his woman, he's gonna do whatever makes her life easier anyway.
Aww.
I agree with that.
Don't make it weird. I'm just saying that, like, I'm not the all guy.
Yeah.
But like, if your
Listen,
girl,
you do that, you might get something extra. It's hard to find.
But it makes
But
Nope.
women
that
want to
ain't-
go above and beyond, because I will run around and put some away because he doesn't.
I'm not
expect it.
I'm not getting anything extra. I get everything up front, so that I don't wait. You're not transactionalizing anything you can do for
Might
me.
get 10 more minutes.
Ain't no 10 more minutes. I get all the minutes I need, so we're not gonna do that either. But my point is this:
Wow.
the average guy, when he gets with his girl, he's gonna be like, "Hey, okay, if my girl doesn't like to do this, he's gonna find somewhere to meet her in the middle. He's not gonna be like, oh my bad, I'll try." And then if typically a woman with some sense, if she sees her man is trying, she gives him that, like, okay, well, yeah, he don't left his shoes out one time this week. Well, shit, last month it was every day. Cool. Like, she'll respect that and not be. She won't complain about that one time. She got to pick it up. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like sometimes this conversation is one rooted from like women who've never had it before,
Right.
and two, women who are just like super petty. Like, I can understand, like,
What do
Yonci's
you mean?
Yonci's on the other side of the spectrum, and I get why, because she was raised differently. But
And I had somebody like
Exactly.
that, and I hated the dynamic. He
exactly.
said, I paid 90% of everything, so I'm gonna only do 10% of the other stuff. He was
Oh,
very
no, wait. So that's where we defer. If you're not paying 100%, you might as well pay 50. Like that 80% shit, 90, you don't get credit for me from that.
The only reason why he said 90 is because I started a business, and it was something.
Nope.
that was
Even
for-
still, he's not. Your business is your money. So now that's where I'm kind of hard on dudes. If you're not paying for 100% of your woman's lifestyle, you shouldn't. That's not a conversation you should be a part of. Like, if it's not 90, it's 50. I mean, if it's not 100, it's 50%. Because no disrespect to guys that do what we have to do to make that type of money. I mean, why not? You're not giving God 10%, so don't claim that 10% you're trying to give her.
Oh Lord Jesus.
I give God 10%. I'm just saying.
For what? Give him his money when you see him.
Like, oh God.
Wow.
That's just me. That's me. I ain't forcing that on nobody
Whoever
else.
said I was raised as a modern woman does not know me, because I was raised in the most traditional way. My mom's getting me at 4 a.m. cooking for my dad from scratch, homemade ice cream, homemade bread. She was.
They joined today. They
Don't
just
even
started
get me
following
started.
See, that's the thing. When you start talking about this topic, when you talk about traditional, that's what my mom did. She was up at 4 a.m. making lunches.
In
Made
high
sure
heels.
my dad was straight for the house. It wasn't even just pick it. If all she had to do was pick up some shoes here and there, she'd have been elated. That woman was up before the sun got up. She'd wake up, get on her knees, pray, and then start doing what she needed to do. My grandmother was the same way. So when if you're arguing over who picks up shoes, like you have no idea what really traditional women used to do to get the house in order.
He's not saying that that's the only thing she has to do. Respectfully, Jacob, she's still doing all the cooking and cleaning.
I'm just saying, but when you talk about, that's a whole nother level people don't even know about, getting up and before everybody is up and starting the day. That's we talk about tradition. That's a whole nother level people don't want to go to.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it really comes down to a standard of living you have for yourself. Because and I feel like this question comes up because a lot of people overlook certain things in the beginning, and then they become problems later on in the relationship. Like, if I'm a clean person, I'm a clean person, whether if I'm in a relationship or if I'm not in a relationship.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't change. So at some point, that person accepted that person, and then it became a problem later on. Like, they showed them who they were early on in the process.
But before you answer, Yonci, while you're chewing, I just want to acknowledge all these wealthy Black people that have house cleaners and all these other things. I didn't grow up in that community. I grew up in the hood.
So I'm not.
We all did. What you talking about? We all did.
Look, my
not
daughter.
wealthy,
Look, that's my daughter's life. Look, that's something I had to grow into. All these wealthy Black people that have properties and incomes and
I don't know about wealthy
and chauffeurs, multiple properties and IPs.
I don't know. I like.
If you go to brunch, you can get a housekeeper.
I like to clean my house though. I find some joy in it.
I like cleaning, but I'm gonna tell you what, my ceiling's kind of high. I can't reach them. them things.
I got better shit to do with my time. I'm not gonna.
So right. I got other stuff to do. So
look
I
at
clean
that.
bathrooms. I hate cleaning bathrooms. I'll mop. I'll do everything. I just hate
y'all ain't gotta apologize for doing well. Why did everybody go into excuse? Well, you ain't gotta apologize for being successful.
First of all, Jacob, I'm not really successful. I just went from working at the post office making $60K to driving for FedEx making 100. You know, with that new union deal. So
I know that's right.
I'm spending this 40K.
I can't believe you switched teams. That's
Everybody start explaining.
$80,000. Yeah, I'm switching teams.
I would have worked.
Driving, job wise, before y'all try to be funny.
Why y'all be before we go down this rabbit? Why y'all clown the working folks? Why y'all just be?
We're not clowning them.
He went from UPS to FedEx. That's like Bloods and Crips. I couldn't believe he just pushed over like that.
I was with the USPS, the postal. Service.
You went from USPS to FedEx.
Yeah, I went from the post office.
I mean, it's still a little bit like.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like Bloods and then like some other Bloods from like a different city. But I mean, the point is, for $40,000, I'm going wherever.
I heard that.
I can't wait for somebody DM me, asked me, could I get them a job at the post office because they thought I was being serious.
IRS, we are being serious. He works.
It's a good government job.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, both my parents were postmasters. Like, so yeah, I'm serious, man. I know about the post office, but I mean, you know, anything like manual labor near my heart, Lord, please remove it.
I was gonna say, so when I was married, I think I shared this story a little bit, but this is perfect to come in on this end. Even though I made more of them, I work from home, and my ex-husband was so-called out flipping properties. That's what he said. I never seen the money, but anyways,
so-called. Damn,
I said so-called because I didn't see the money.
That man catches straight every time you tell him.
So-called, her so-called husband is
his money was his money.
I'm so glad my exes can't say nothing bad about me. Boy,
listen, I'm just saying when it comes to roles, but even though I work from home, he always, and I made more money from home, being retired and, you know, extra income. He was just like, he ain't care about none of that. I still need to make sure I clean the house, cook, clean, do all that. So he would come in from his so-called flipping property job and be like, where's dinner? And I think that made me resent him.
Was he a general contractor?
Yeah.
He had Cam's job.
Yeah, he was he was generally contracting with no money.
He was flipping.
Yeah, that's like being a dope dealer and not having you. Never mind.
Because I used to say, because I was paying like Yonci, I was paying all the bills. So I'm like, if I'm paying all the bills, what are you doing with your money? You know, but he still felt like
you was paying all the bills.
And this is how they talk about you when you're not around.
I don't like to be judged. We listen, we don't.
No shit, we do judge as soon as you say it, but I'm not judging you.
I don't know who came up with that foolishness. I'm judging.
He said we're judging him.
Yeah, no, I'm judging the situation.
Right. Both of us.
I wish I could have somebody paying all the bills and then I keep all of my money to myself.
And you don't cook and clean.
And don't cook and clean?
Yeah. I have that isn't she's not the first woman I've heard do
that's the deal of the century.
Because I felt like when Willie gonna eat this up. I don't even want to share it.
Was it always like that? Like
bro should have been in sales.
So you're right. No, 3 months he would cash his check and give it to me for the mortgage. 3 months out of the 2 years we were married. Yes.
So you see how she put that in context?
No, I just but here's the thing. I felt like the bill still had to get paid. Why should I?
Wait, you said 3 months out of how long?
2 years we were married. Yeah.
So he showed you that
24 months.
Huh?
You said that happened very early though. Like he showed
I agree. Well, so we were together for 4, married for 2. So it was great. He the first half of our relationship, he was in his own space. And I was in my own space. We combined spaces. I owned my home. He rented his. We like, let's come together, move in my house, right?
Oh, that's his first mistake.
I knew you. That's why I didn't want to say this.
We getting off the question here. This ain't getting no better, Keisha. This ain't getting no better. Yeah, let's go to the next question. This is just getting worse the more you talk about it.
But I felt
he had
like
faith.
whether he helped me or not, I still had to pay my bills.
Hopefully,
My name, everything was in my name. What you say, Greg?
I said, hopefully, I didn't open up a can of worms on that
You
question.
did.
Oh yeah, she walked. You led her to deep water. That was murky.
I
He was
just had
getting all the bills, and he was living in her house.
But think about it though. Think
Boy,
about
he should have been in sales.
Think about it. If you never would have heard the background and the context, it would have sounded like now I get it.
No, it all sounded bad for me.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
Yeah, there was nothing about that story was like, oh, that's not that bad.
I was trying to give you the benefit of that.
It was so bad. I pulled out my phone and started calculating what percent.
Oh no!
The time he paid 8.3% of the time.
But God got his 10%.
No, he didn't. The church got their
Be
10%.
quiet, Greg. Why you going to do that?
She still owe God that. When she go to heaven, God's gonna be like, "Where my money at?" He's gonna be like, "Oh, I gave it to TD Cakes," and then he gonna be like, "That ain't me. You didn't get why you give my money to somebody else."
First of all, don't make me go to the scripture. The Bible says that when you do unto others, it is basically, I'm paraphrasing, for God. So he says, if when there's the poor and you feed them, that's like me, you feeding me. When you help those in need, you're helping him. I'll get the exact verse if you would like it, but we are his.
I know what the verse says. And the verse also says that your tithing doesn't have to be just monetary. You can give 10% of what you have. You can give 10% of your spare time. So you don't have to tithe monetarily. So the church is a business. So y'all are giving y'all money to keep that church's doors open. As bro said, close the doors. Now, the way that I tithe is via coaching, philanthropy, and when I was younger, the strip club. Now, you know what I'm saying, I focus on more wholesome ways to give my time back. But I assure you, if I make $100,000 for working at UPS, I'm not giving a church $10,000 of nothing. And then too, they want your pre-tax dollars. They don't want after tax. They want you to pay before you get taxed, because you got to give God his first. Again, I just give God his when I see him. If that's the case, you'll take Bitcoin.
I think
all I'm saying is the scripture said he wants us to bless others. So I wouldn't say just hold on to it in this life.
I just don't think end of the day,
people don't check their church out. That's probably the biggest issue, because some churches do exactly what you just described. Like some of them, pastors don't take a salary. My grandfather was a pastor. He never took a salary. He had his own job. He had his business. Everything that came in went right back out the door. And there are a lot of churches like that. But
ushers, close the doors.
There's not a lot of mega churches like that. There's a lot of small churches like that.
You gotta find them and do your homework straight up. Like
once you get to a point where every Sunday you earning $2-3 million, ain't nobody. I just don't. Human nature takes over. You can love God all you want to, but you got $2 or $3 million coming in, you're gonna take a piece. Like it's kind of like putting a crackhead in a crack house. Like he gonna smoke a rock or two. You can't help it.
I can name some you guys put really prominent pastors that literally every dollar comes in and goes out. Like I'm not talking about what I heard, like that I've seen the financials of. Like we did business, my corporate job did business with one of them, and everything we gave them went right back out the door. I mean, and he put on top of it. So they're out there, but they're not many. I would argue they're probably not many.
Well, you guys, I'm sure this is going to be really discouraging.
Women, pick up the shoes and let's keep going. All right.
Right.
So we're going to leave
things up and let it go.
We're going to leave this topic alone. I know it's going to be tough.
This is the last time y'all talk about this, so he must have been around for a long time.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Right now, it is time to snitch. Who would like to let us know if you are new? Please let us know in the comments that you're new so we can give you some extra love. But if you are not new, you know what time it is. It is time to make sure you have tapped that like button. If you are on a mobile device, you are
6 likes, 12 watching.
How many?
12.
12 likes. Oh, and better and better every week. If you are new to watching and you are watching live, you have to close your chat to be able to see the like, and then you can get right back into that chat and keep those comments coming. We love it when you engage. We are going to get right back to it. That was the quickest snitch session I've ever seen. Pretty amazing. All right, so let's get to question number 2.
Oh, I was waiting to listen to y'all answers.
We have a video clip I'm going to show first.
Used to float, now I
just fall down.
Another year, another drop. We'll let it play one more time. Please come and see.
Used to float, now I just fall down.
Rest in peace, Perky.
I don't.
Okay, so the question is, if your significant others,
I need a hoodie.
What'd you say?
I need a hoodie to put on.
If they begin to sag over time, would you want her to consider surgery to lift them? Now, this is interesting because as women, we could be very hard on ourselves about certain things. And there are certain things men just don't care about or they don't even notice. So I wanted to find out which category this fit into. Is this something they care about or is this something they don't notice? So everybody in the comments, you guys can take a guess as well. But do you think the majority of men said, I would encourage her to get them things lifted? Or do you think the majority said, no, I would not want her to go under the knife? What are you guessing? You could say lifted or knife. Well, I guess lifted or no knife would be an easier way. On the panel, what do you think the majority said? It was an overwhelming majority. I'm talking 97% agreed on this answer. So what do you think?
Probably no. Don't.
No, absolutely.
I say men would probably say no. Don't do all that.
Yeah.
2 votes for no. Of course, I can't vote because I've seen it. All right. Candace and Falake both said no knife. Jacob, what do you think the men said?
Men don't care. It ain't that serious.
Men don't care. And the guy covering half his face. What do you think the men said?
I think they said no knife.
Okay. She said they didn't leave me hanging. Was that pun intended?
No. That's funny. Kitty up there talking trash, talking about I was giving y'all a story. Y'all just left me hanging and drowned my conversation out.
Oh, absolutely not. But I just
we saved you, Keisha. We
right. I'm okay.
We didn't want you to tell no more of that man,
I couldn't miss that hanging opportunity. That was funny. But I don't think that's your problem, girl. You just seem nice and perky from the photos I've seen. Okay. All right. So let's see what the men had to say, what their answers were. 97% said no, I would not want her to go under the knife. So ladies who are stressing out, I have a friend who ever since I've known her as a teen, she was this big, gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous woman and always thought that she needed to either lose weight or get enhancements or things like that. And I said, I'm going to pray to God that you can see yourself the way we see you, because she is gorgeous. And so I saw her recently and she's wanting to do some other stuff. And I was like, people would die for what you look like right now. But we could be hard on ourselves.
I think we should be hard. Like, what kills me is how women will go get their whole body done and then leave their face alone. I've never understood that. Like,
maybe they think that their face doesn't need work.
No, that's the problem. No, it's because they can't afford it. Facial surgery is way more expensive than getting your body done. You can get your whole body done, from talking about boobs, stomach, BBL, all of that, for half the cost of what it costs to get your face done. That it's a cheap. Listen. You don't, when you go on Groupon, you see BBLs and titties on there all the time. You don't see anybody talk about doing facelifts on Groupon. There's a reason for that. Like, so that's why. But it just kills me, like, how people don't even think, like, damn, yeah, okay, cool. You got this big, concrete butt now, but what about your face? I've never understood that until I realized how much it costs to get your face done. And then I understand now it's an access issue.
Very interesting.
I think it's just insecurity.
I agree. That's it.
I think if you encourage your woman to get any type of body work done, you're encouraging insecurity.
Nah, I don't agree with that part.
I agree.
Because I think that if a woman, if God didn't grant it, she should implant it. If she can't grow it, she could throw it. My main concern is her having a positive body image. So if she's not secure in her body, whatever she can do within reason to go get that. I may suggest going to the gym first, but say, for example, she's an older woman. She's getting married in 2 years. She wants her body right. She ain't got time to go to the gym and do that.
Yes, you do.
But
if she's getting it done, that means it's an insecurity that she has.
Right. If it's an issue, it's an issue. No matter.
Right.
No one's saying that it's not that she's insecure. She insecure. Generally speaking, she's insecure in that one aspect of herself. Everybody
Either way, she's still insecure. Insecure is insecure.
No, it's not. Because just because you're insecure about the way your feet look doesn't mean you're insecure about the way you look. A part of you is an issue.
A part of you is your foot, right?
Jesus Christ. I said that too. A part of you is where you have an issue. It's not all of you. Now, if you're like, damn, my teeth, my nose, my eyes, I'm bald in the middle, my throat is too long.
So
like,
insecurity is quantifiable.
There's because you're not.
Right.
Go ahead, Greg.
Willie, if I hurt my foot, am I still hurt?
If I slap you with my left hand and I'm right-handed, do you still slap? Of course. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the fact that
if a part of my body part is hurt, then that's a part of me.
You're insecure about that. For example, if you got your teeth knocked, like you lost your 2 front teeth right now, you'd be insecure about that, correct? You wouldn't want to talk probably or smile because you're missing 2 teeth.
I'm getting them shits fixed next.
Exactly. But say, okay, you didn't. But if now keep your mouth closed, would you think that you're ugly because you lost your 2 teeth?
Well, I think that I'm ugly.
Yeah, because you lost your 2 teeth. Because you keep your mouth closed.
I wouldn't go as far as saying ugly, but I would be insecure about
Still insecure about them.
About those 2 teeth, not the way you look. You're only insecure about that one thing. You're not insecure about
the way he looks.
You're not insecure about your weight. You're not insecure about your height. You're not insecure about your skin complexion. All these other things that go into your appearance is my point.
But my point is that there's still a sense of insecurity there.
In one specific area. We're not arguing about there being the presence of security. That's saying they're insecure overall.
It's like you either have it or you don't. There's no like
right.
There's not very many things in life where you either have it or you don't.
So insecure, not confident or sure.
You know what the definition of insecure is?
No, obviously not. It didn't say insecure is a specific area. If you ain't got it, you ain't got what Greg. If you
the cool thing about here, I'm gonna help you out one time for free. The cool thing about trying to look up words when they don't have context, you have to go to something that's going to give you a secondary or tertiary meaning. Dictionary, no, you didn't. You use a dictionary. So if you want to do what I would suggest is using Chat GPT or something AI fish is going to give you a higher level of thinking and provide context. Because if you put this prompt in the Chat GPT, it's going to tell you emphatically no. But again, you can go with Webster's. We've been using because
before Chat GPT out, there was always Webster's. Quit it now.
Well, what is the debate? Because I have to be stuck in my tooth. Sorry, I was driving.
If you're insecure about one thing about your body, you're insecure generally. You're just insecure. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're not, but see the way you're saying it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me hear how she's saying.
Yeah, how you're saying it just means you're just insecure. It's something on you that's insecure, whether it's my feet, my arms, my legs, my butt, my stomach. I'm insecure.
Like you would say, this is an insecurity. This is an insecurity for me.
Yeah, he's saying, you said, what is it?
Like he would say, my arms are an insecurity for me.
So, okay, perfect example. So because your arms are an insecurity for you, are you insecure about yourself overall?
I don't think that somebody would say that. I was using it.
No, they're not going to say it. They're going to feel it still. They're not going to say, I'm insecure. You internally are insecure. Whether you get 2 teeth knocked out or 20, you're still insecure about how you look because your teeth are knocked out.
How many different facets of your appearance are there? Because when you're insecure about a body part, it's your appearance you're insecure about. So if we're breaking down what our appearance is comprised of, you're only insecure about that one part, not the rest of it. So you're not insecure about your hair. Like you have natural hair. You have really good skin. You have a nice smile. You're tall, like all the other stuff that you have to be secure about. But the one thing you don't like, you said, is your arms. So does that one thing negate the rest of that shit?
Yeah, I don't think that. I wouldn't say that. I would actually side with Willie on this. I literally had a client, so made me think about that example. She lost weight because, in the ab club that we have, and she lost weight, and she said, "Oh, but my arms, the arms and her people in her family, like I guess the weight, it comes off less." So she's loving how she looks, but she's insecure about her arms. So I would say, I would probably specify I'm insecure about this. I'm insecure about, maybe my voice.
What you just said, Yonci, she's insecure about this. So the word insecure is in there to some degree. She's insecure. Whether it's about, I get it, but I kind of thought what Greg said to some extent, even if it's a minute thing like this, it's an insecurity in there.
Yeah. I'd probably say I have some insecurities. I'm overall a confident person, but I do have some insecurities. There are some things about me that I would want to change.
I agree. If I had really small, right?
Yeah, but if I have to click one checkbox to the other, if someone said, "Are you insecure for like a quiz?" I would think insecure. But if you said, do you have any insecurities, then I would get specific. But overall,
What is that, Whitley?
Just for the record, I just want to
a brachioplasty is the surgery you get when you have arm fat.
Oh God!
Oh.
I just want to congratulate the Brotherhood for choosing right on this answer here. Just another example of, men. We're just so down to earth and sensible.
If she had,
the Brett sound like they're down to the earth too.
What makes me sad is this is gonna sound so mean, but like if you have little,
we're doing good, Willie. Don't ruin it now. We're doing good here. We're on the good side of this question here.
You have little titties and they're still going through that. That's wild to me. Like there's not even a whole lot for gravity to pull down. So I don't feel that. I don't know.
If they got little boobs and what?
I'll say that I didn't know that little titties still sag. I didn't know that till today.
Oh yeah, they do.
I was saying they would kind of need gravity to do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like
people didn't come today.
I've never. Anyway,
here's the opposite of that. Just to think about it, like if something was to change about a man's, I mean, they do have surgery. Like if you're balding, whatever, they have stuff that you can do. But most of the time, men aren't focused on changing how they look or
like trying to keep up their
our looks aren't our number one agency.
And when we do, y'all clown us. When you see men with spray painted hairlines,
or you these fun size dudes going to get these leg extensions.
Yeah, I or put lifts in your shoes. I see y'all on social media in the comments. I see how y'all dog the brothers.
Well, that's the thing. Women only dog men for that after they done fell out with them, or like the dude is disqualified there for his attention. Because if they were still trying to get with her or flirting with him, it'd be all good. She'd be cool with him with the leg extensions. But as soon as they break up, that's why I used to be a midget, and then it's always something funny like that.
So here's the thing. I believe what I hear men say, I could summarize this way, is men are not typically opposed to enhancements. They just don't want to necessarily know that they're looking at an enhancement or change their experience. So for example, if a woman colored her eyebrows, he doesn't care that they're not natural, but he doesn't want them to look like freakish, weird things. If she gets her boobs done, he doesn't want them to feel unnatural. She gets a butt implant, he doesn't want it to feel like there are rocks back there. So I don't think if it looks natural, like let's say if this wasn't all my hair and there was like what do you call it, like a row on the back, I don't think a guy would care unless he wanted to pull it, and I said, "No, don't touch my hair."
I think the hair is where we draw the line, because if your leave out is crazy, like if your leave out is crazy and not blended, I noticed that. If I see the,
but that's what I said. If you notice it, or it changes your experience, like he's a hair puller, and now she's like, "Don't touch the bottom half," like that. It's changing, but just walking around, I
remember going on
that screen door part of your wig is crazy too. Even when you get your first done, like don't ask why I will be looking at the top of a woman's head. It's completely irrelevant. But I don't care if like you just went and got your hair done. If I'm looking down at you and I can see like the net and shit where your hair is coming from, like that bothers me.
Willie, what did you call it? A screen to screen?
But no, he has a point.
I have a question for the men.
Hold on, if you're going to do it, get it done well. If you pay the extra money,
Willie,
so it looks nice. We see that big screen, or we see the lines, or we touch your head and we feel like this huge like metal piece in the back.
If you did that and your whole head slipped off, I would have a problem.
Yeah.
I have a question. Men in the comments, men live on the panel. What do you guys think about the trend with the baby hairs that are greased?
I fucking hate it.
To the side of your head.
Oh,
that's for children.
Everyone is doing it.
That is for kids. Like girls 16 and under, cool. Outside of that, like you don't have baby hairs. You 60. You got baby.
My daughter 14, she don't even do that.
But what bothers me though is like when you don't have the hair texture for it, and then you're using like part of your wig to make it. That shit. Listen,
you can buy just the baby hairs now.
Or you thin and then you still got it. You thin.
Trust me, I know.
Like what the hell?
Like I hate it. I don't say hate often, but when I tell you I hate that, like how did you make baby hairs out of your wig hair? Like, and then they have to glue it to the side of their face or their forehead, and then like when listen, never mind.
I think I always get triggered when it's not like I enjoy the natural look. And so because it's plastered, like even remember the 90s when women used to have that like plaster hairdo, and it would literally be like all of their hair, and it would just be like this helmet.
That finger wave shit.
Yes, I've never like, and you're like,
I'll
never
never-
was into that.
It looked like a hair.
I agree with
Lady
y'all.
had a hairdo, and she had a zipper in hers. It was hard.
Oh,
She
I
had a
saw
zipper.
that on social
And when
media.
you unzip the zipper, it was like a smiley face in her hair.
That's crazy.
Ladies, don't do it. Stay
No.
natural.
I'm not gonna hold you. I hate a hair helmet wearing with a passion.
Yeah.
Like those hair hats and shit. Like I've only
Hair
dated
hat.
one person in my life, and unfortunately, it's one of the people I was with the longest. But when like we got together, I was like, okay, I could get with this, and then I couldn't, and then I ended up, it's $2,000 to get her like good like non-noticeable hair helmets. So
I'm thinking about getting one
no, you're not.
for one reason. For
Absolutely
literally,
not. I'm telling Monte now. Absolutely, we're
I'm thinking
boycotting
about
this
getting
shit.
one.
I want to hear the
for one
reason because I might
alone.
agree, but go ahead.
I think it's a good reason. So if I spend an hour getting my hair like this, you see the luster, the shine, the curls, and 2 seconds after walking out of
the door. He's snitching on you. Yes.
it, and 2 seconds after walking out of my house, my hair looks like this, and it's frizzy, and
Your wig is gonna look like that too.
oh, if it's fake hair, it's not gonna get
Yeah,
frizzy.
that's the thing. It's not fake
This
hair. It's
Texas
human hair.
humidity, it has me pissed off.
Hey, that plastic shrink wrap plastic hair, that still does the same thing. And then you're gonna get static shock and shit. Like, please don't fall for it. Like,
I
don't.
just feel like I could put it on for when I'm outside, and then when I get to the location, I could just pull that thing off, and then when I have to go back out in the elements, I could put it back
I
on.
get a sister. I get women a little grace. If you got little ones and your life is hectic, if you need that help, go ahead and get you one.
Man,
I just need to know you got the hair underneath there. That's all I need to know.
I'm of the unpopular opinion that if you putting wigs on, calling it because you want to protect your hair, you're just too lazy to do what it takes to do the shit without the hair helmet.
No,
And
it's the humidity.
even still, there's I'm not talking about you because you just want to do it because you're tired of doing your actual real hair.
No,
It's a lot of
I don't
work.
even mind doing my hair. I don't want to do my hair, and 2 minutes later, it looks like trash. We went out with another couple, and I said, "Look at my hair, enjoy it, because in 2 minutes, it will not look like this." And it did not look like that in 2 minutes.
I
look
think
like
wigs should be for Jada Pinkett and cancer patients only.
Nah, I get a women
You
grace
get
on
a
this.
selfie immediately before you walk out.
Proof. If you didn't take a photo, it didn't exist.
Yeah.
I think that's why I went to locks actually, because being natural, I hated always trying to go to the salon, spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get my hair done. And I really like the fact that these are flexible, small enough to where I could still put it up in nice styles, but it just wasn't the hassle. I hate
And
it.
it's
But the retwist
complimentary.
ain't cheap though, Lakeisha. That retwist is not cheap.
Every 8 weeks, sir. It's a lot.
Woo-wee. Well, I gotta say, thank you so much, Lynette. She is our
Lynette, who
first.
is that? And we know her. I haven't, Lynette.
Lynette got a man now. She's
Wow,
not
I hadn't
coming back
seen
on
her.
the show.
Yeah.
Lynette got a
Oh,
man
yeah.
now.
Yeah, Lynette.
She
Love,
boot up,
love
boot
Lynette.
up, boot up, boot up.
Oh, she got a man. Oh, okay, yeah. That,
Yeah,
okay,
Lynette
she
got a
all-
man, Jacob. You missed that window, baby.
Lynette got a man. Lynette got a man.
Yeah.
Lynette, she laid up somewhere. All right, congratulations, Lynette. We wish you
Oh,
the best.
not laid up. Wow.
Not laid up, right? You had to say it like that. Oh, she in Bali. Oh, I'm right behind you. I'm
Exactly. She in Bali right now. I mean, but
Nice.
I'm not gonna hold you.
There.
If I was in Bali, I would still come on the show because I'm loyal. But
That's what I'm saying. Like she ain't laid up. She enjoying life.
no, if she in Bali, she definitely
laid
laid up.
up in Bali.
Yeah, she definitely laid up if she in Bali. That's crazy to not be laid up in Bali.
Get it in, Lynette. Get it all in, Lynette. Get it all in, all of it.
Literally, do not let that bathroom go to waste.
It's hard to go home, Lynette.
Thank you, Keita. Thank you so much. $4.99. We got another love offer. Y'all be showing some love. Thank you so much.
I saw that.
I
but
really
no.
appreciate it.
Yeah, we didn't say that, but keep going.
We didn't say what?
you trying to call
Y'all
it?
funny. Y'all funny.
Yeah, we're not even entertaining it. So
One of them questions should be when you go on them vacations, who should be paying? How should they pay? That's always a debate. Like
That's not a. Why
should
is that?
pay.
I always hear people talk about that. They always
wait a minute. Pay for
Oh my
what?
God, those the only people debating that are like two broke folks that don't like each other.
Oh, see, she just wanted to flex on us. This
That's dedication. Overseas checking in. Yay.
I just want to say hi. Willie talking shit. Excuse me, talking nonsense.
Represent, girl.
Hey, look,
Give him the hair clip.
It worked.
look,
And look,
she's
and you got
stunned.
your Bali hair in too.
I'm not the volley hair.
I got that. I can get that wet hair. I see.
Wait, there's somebody behind you.
I got yeah, somebody behind me.
Oh,
Of
okay.
course,
I got
it
the-
better be. She in Bali. It better be somebody behind her.
Right.
I got the good wig and the good old hair hat. Like what?
They coming
But it
out,
looks
girl.
she always is together though. Don't get it twisted. Please.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've never seen the screen door part of her wig ever.
No.
Never.
I want to say this in the words of our aunties, okay? Please tell your little friend that we really appreciate him sharing you for a little bit on
Yeah.
Thursday nights. We do.
Well, it's gonna be a quick second because I'm about to go do ATV, so I just wanted to check in real quick and say hi and check
Hey,
Willie back.
that's right.
That's on my list. I'm excited for you.
Oh,
But enjoy the show, and I'll be watching while I'm
Thank
driving in the car.
You look great.
All right, y'all. Later.
Bye. All right, y'all. We are
Oh,
Well, damn.
right. We ain't nothing, obviously.
Yeah, we ain't shit.
But I always say that's a debate, Willie, because I always hear people go back and forth. Like dudes be like, "Well, if I'm paying,
Because those niggas are broke. That's why.
I have never.
Like this is the
Ever.
thing. Right? Anytime a couple is complaining about like who's paying for what, one of them is broke, and then the other one has some money but wants to spend it on something else. Like that's not a conversation two people who are financially stable that like each other have.
Ain't never had that discussion about I'm gonna pay for the water, you get the ice. Hey, never.
You know how crazy it is
because you want to go on vacation and enjoy yourself, and so it's taken care of. Like,
but don't leave that cup of water out though, because I'm not picking it up.
Yeah, like exactly. I done flew you to Bali first class, and now I get to the house. You want to pick up a pair of J's, girl? Okay, because Esmeralda wants to move up in the world, and she's not. She don't want to be just a housekeeper forever.
But if you pay for it, is you owe something on the vacation?
Yes. If I fly you, listen, we can just break it. Okay, this is the version of Willie you want today, Keisha, and I'm gonna give it to you. If I pay for the ticket, you coming up off that ass.
Oh,
like I'm not flying nobody else, and I'm
included.
not having sex. Like if I haven't had sex with you in Dallas, I'm not flying you to Dubai. That's dumb.
Right,
right. I'm gonna hit you in Dallas first before I take you to Dubai. Like, what are we talking about? If I take you on a vacation, pay for everything, and you think you get to come over and talk about you on your period, girl, I will send you home. Like,
wow! Don't let it come early. My God.
Right.
No, you got gelatin, lemon. You got gelatin, lime juice, and some Tylenol. That'll push.
You said your mouth still works.
Oh, exactly. Sorry. You got two other hoes. But the point is this: like once I send you that record locator, like you should already know what time it is. And I track my woman's cycle, so I know she got a commission these days. Should we not flying? I'm not taking her nowhere. And she, if I ain't got to be at the house, I ain't got to be at the house. Cool. But think that we finna go on a vacation. You not come up. Listen. You go spend a fair amount of time on all fours, and we're not talking about looking for something on the beach.
Not the ATVs. First of all, Willie, thank you so much for the $49.99 super chat.
No, it was an accident. It was supposed to be $5, but I got carried away.
I'm glad you're real heavy-handed with that thumb.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Here we go.
No, if I drive more than 30 minutes,
You're driving something else.
No, man, this is my thing, right? It's kind of like when women get mad and like at the expectation men have, like, well, you expected this date to go well, right? You expected this vacation to be nice. You expected, so I'm a 5-star kind of guy that you get a 5-star, treatment. You need to come up off some of that. At least I need to see if that vagina is 5-star. Because if it don't match, then we can go to a Holiday Inn.
Not a Holiday Inn. Hotel, motel.
Holiday Inn.
Like, listen, I don't have to lie to you about it. And I'm up front from the beginning. Like, hey, listen, if you think I'm about to fly you to do what?
Did he say she better have a passport, dude? If she in Bali,
She ain't got to have a passport. I can get that. She better have a clean a clean medical record.
I'm talking about Kenny. Kenny said
Oh.
Nat better have a passport if she in Bali. You should.
She had to have one to get out.
Right.
Kenny, tell me the last time you traveled.
Just
You
be
used the
quiet.
military ID without telling me. The last time you traveled, you used the military ID. Because what?
What?
When can you get on a plane without having your passport to leave the country? That is a non-U.S. territory.
I can't even drive across the bridge when I'm in Michigan to Canada.
Canada, right? I did that one time.
You can use the passport card, though. Like they'll give you the passport card you can use to go to Canada.
You can use your enhanced ID, but it's a little iffy. You have a passport, just go ahead and have one.
And please don't have no guns in your car trying to go to Canada. Oh, oh God. Just please don't. Just it's a terrible idea. They're not a gun-friendly country up there.
So before we lose this point, the brotherhood. Thank you for answering question number two, in a very thoughtful and adult manner. The men are doing well tonight.
Way to represent.
I want to know why those 3% said they care. I mean, I kind of
those are the women who clicked the poll by accident. That's what it is.
Ain't no women
on the private page, so not this one.
Yeah, so the brothers didn't do that.
All the estrogen on that page, you got to blame on men.
Right.
Well, we are going to move on to number 3. Thank you, everybody who has contributed a love offering. We really appreciate it. If you haven't hit that like button, please do so now. Feel free to snitch. Anybody, we're at 15 viewers right now. Let's see how many likes we're at. If you want to follow anybody who is on the panel, you can do so. For those who do have your Instagram up, take a screenshot now because it's about to go away in a second. When we get to number 3, would this method help little boys become healthy men? Take a look at this.
Nope.
Video.
Scream at me! Go to your room if you're gonna cry about it. We're not raising a little crybaby sissy boy in this house. That's enough. Stop crying right now. Dry it up. If you don't stop crying, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. You hear me? Okay, I know you're mad. All right, I'm here to help you be mad without being mean. Okay, you're not a mean person, so let's figure out what's going on inside your body. You wanna use your calm down chart so you can communicate with me? We know you feel angry, but is there anything else that you feel? When you want to be mean, it's one of these needs that's going unmet. So can you look over this and tell me what you might need? When you're mad, you're in the red nervous system zone. And that doesn't mean anything bad about you. It just means that we got to figure out a way to calm down. So let's choose a calm down helper. These are going to help your body get back into the green zone. You were wanting to hit, so you can do one of these 3 things, or you can do something else. There are lots of ways to discipline a child that don't cause damage or create disconnection.
All right. First of all, I want to say thank you so much to Candace. She's showing love on the show. Thank you so much, Candace. We appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody, what did you think about the video? She gave the first option, screaming, yelling, telling him not to cry. And then she broke down trying to get him to talk through his feelings and well, you saw it. What are your thoughts? Do you think this would help?
I don't think I'm gonna take advice on raising a boy, from a woman.
Okay. And can you go? That's what you wouldn't do. Can you give some of the reasons why?
It just doesn't make sense. Like the mindset, the emotional background alone is different. Like I'm a logical thinker.
Okay.
A woman most likely is going to be going to have a more emotional approach in parenting anyway. So our parenting style is naturally different. Like I'm not going to take that approach at all. It's bad advice. That's the best
okay.
way.
And I appreciate this. I think because obviously the women love to understand more about the men and how they're wired. So why would you think, if you could, I don't know, I'm trying to think of how to say this without guiding you too much. What makes you think that a man would be able to do a better job? Like, is there a way that a little boy is wired that a woman couldn't relate to? Is that what you're saying? I'm trying to put words in your mouth.
I want to say relate to. I would say it's more like I said before, like men just operate differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like we operate differently when it comes to dealing with being a father, when it comes to being a husband. Like we just our makeup is different. So if I'm going to take advice, I personally would prefer to have it come from another male figure, either who's already a father or has children, like, you know what I mean, somebody who is actively doing it as opposed to some, you know, especially a woman.
This is very interesting and near to my heart because I raised my son, obviously not by myself. I had his father in the picture. And he went, once we did split, he spent his 15 and up with his father. But it was very important to me that my son had emotional intelligence. And so I felt like there was a lot that I can contribute to him. I think he's going to be an amazing father to a very lucky woman one day because of it. And then I now have a stepson who is here quite frequently, and working with him to teach him about emotional intelligence, i.e., nonverbal communication, the power of nonverbal communication, how to calm down when you're frustrated and things like that. Where with a lot of guys, I kind of see the get over it, shake it off type of a thing, but they're still struggling. So
I think it's not that deep. I think it's just comes down to discipline and self-control. Like if you can break those two things down to a child from a male perspective,
mm-hmm.
or a father figure perspective, then you're doing a portion, your part as a father, you know, as far as leading that child in an emotional capacity. Because you at the end of the day, you know, as far as a child acting out or, you know, acting crazy, you know, hitting, fighting, like that's all an emotional reaction to something.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can figure out what that is and control, have the child be able to control it, then you don't have to add all that extra flair that she put on, you know, the spin of it. It doesn't have to be all that.
Okay, so you feel like she had too many steps. Is that a good way of saying it?
It was just, yeah, I mean that, and it was just it's unnecessary. Like a lot of it was unnecessary. Like I have me being a father, I can have a conversation with my son, and it can be very logical, and it'll click to him. Like I can give an example, I can tell a story,
Mm-hmm.
like I can say something to where it'll connect and it'll register to him. You know, I don't have to sit him down and ask him to evaluate his, you know, not saying that any of that stuff is bad or, you know, you should do, but from a male perspective, our approach is a lot different in general than it would be coming from a woman anyway.
It would be interesting to see a side by side of the approach, because obviously this woman, she's selling something, so she has the whole chart and things like that. But it sounded like what you are suggesting, that is what she was doing. So I'm having a little bit of a hard time seeing where the difference is. And so it's, you know, it's probably just on me not understanding. But thank you for sharing your thoughts. What any other Jacob's face is saying so much. What would you like to add, sir? I won't even ask
this anything. First of all,
this.
I mean, I can't get over the one thing I don't like about makeup is that little white dots in between the eyes. Like that's, you know, that's up there with baby hair for me.
Oh my God. And then the white line that goes here, it's called the highlight. That drives me insane.
Yeah, don't do that. Just watching this video, I think there are moments, and I may not, folks may not agree with. There are times where you need to scare the hell.
Oh, is anyone else frozen? Oh, it's just Jacob. Okay. It kicked me all the way out of the studio, by the way, a second ago, and I had to upload all my graphics back. So I don't know. He's frozen. So I will respond to what he was saying about scare. I think that there are times, like the father needs to be seen as the authority figure. The child needs to have respect for him. But I feel like if they're not being defiant, they're not being rebellious, but they're just really struggling with lots of emotions that they're having a hard time controlling. I think that's when the situation is needed, because I don't think kids are always being bad per se. There are definitely times where I feel like there's disrespect and they're being unruly. And then there are other times where I feel like the person just doesn't have the tools yet. Welcome back, Jacob. Yeah, you were just frozen.
Yeah, well, it's storming here where I'm at. I'm sorry, I put Michigan. I'm actually in Georgia. There's a storm coming through. So I lost you guys for a minute. But I think there are times she talked about like yelling at the kid. There are times you need the fear of God needs to be in your child, of you, especially boys. I'm not saying all the time, and you need to beat them like a slave, but there needs to be at some point. There are times where there's some discipline, some tough love.
I agree.
Does need to take place, especially with.
Do you stop doing that? Is it ever an age?
Yeah, never mind. Go ahead. I'll let y'all go first. I'll go.
I'm just asking.
I think once you see there's change, like, you know, as the person develops and they evolve, there's certain things you can ease back on. Like, you know, your child gets older, you don't continue to whoop them. You might have to do it, you know, a few times when they're little, but at some point you would think that they would grow out of that, and, you know, to be a different, you know, now we moved on to conversation. It's not whoopings anymore. You're at that age now where you sit down and we have a talk about
when you I only ask that because I substitute teach at school, elementary and middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I ask myself, especially the middle school, I be like, you know how we always say, if you hear a disrespectful kid, you know, the first thing a lot of people be like is, where's their parents? Like, where's their father? What are they doing? And y'all know I always got a story. So when I was married, my ex-kids were, Willie, you like them. All right. They were so disrespectful, right? And they didn't start off like that. My ex-husband had all boys. And he used to say, well, they was 10 when I came around. And he used to be like, well, what you want me to do, Kishi? What you want me to whip them? Like, what you want me to do? And I'm like, they don't even respect you, really. Like, how do you think they're going respect me? Like, that was just my anger talking. But that's why I said, at what age do you stop giving them the business, or
the age when you're not worried about them going to prison or coming across a police officer that put his hands or a bullet in them? That's when you stop doing it.
But don't you think there's a difference between a child being rebellious and disrespectful to the parent
and
a child who is frustrated? Like, let's say, for example, he lost his game. Mm-hmm. He's not being rude to you. He's not being whatever, but he is like struggling to get over it. He worked really, really hard. He lost the game and he has all of these emotions running through him.
What kind of emotions, though?
You said what?
Like, when you say emotion, I'm just asking so I can get a visual. When you say he has all these emotions, what kind of emotion?
Frustration, just
like yelling, screaming, like, you know.
No, he's not. He's really down. He's really down. As I say, it's important in this pretend scenario that he's not being disrespectful. He's just, you know him, you could tell he's upset. He doesn't want to do the things that he normally would do, and he's really going through these emotions. Obviously, it could be a younger kid. So let's say he's really little, he could be crying. If he's really, really little, he could be crying. I know older men who, if they lose a championship, you see them crying, you know, stuff like that. So how would you work through that if they're really distraught? That's not like a disciplinarian situation in that sense.
That's two different situations, though. What she was talking about in this video is not what we're talking about now.
That's true.
My stance is drastically different. So Greg's point, a woman has no business teaching a boy how to do anything when it comes to being disciplinary that's going to make him a man. All she can do is raise him to be a good citizen. And part of that is nurturing him. And it sucks because I would never in life take advice about what I should do with my son from a woman that's not his therapist. So if his therapist can go through that with him, that's fine. But for my son's mother to have to do that, it'll never work. Because one, most adults struggle with those things. Most adults, like, you want to hit something, you can't, so you cuss, you scream, you yell, you'll throw something. Like, so there's not very many people who are emotionally intelligent enough to walk their children through that, which is unfortunate. But again, we can prove that statistically, or, you know what I'm saying, with more than anecdotal evidence. And then from the business side of it, I mean, her customer base is just going to be a bunch of single men, a bunch of single moms that have badass kids who just don't listen to them. Because at the end of the day, the reason why those kids act like that typically is because their father's not around. Mm-hmm. You see when kids are small or they act up, you see what happens when a mom told them to do something, back talk. I don't want to. When the dad says something, they stand up straight and go do what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, I mean, all that video said to me is that single moms, keep your kids' father in their lives, or you got to pay this lady $299 for a crayon book with some stickers and shit in it. Like that's just it's dumb to me.
And it's funny you said that because everything that she mentioned, now that I think about it as a father, I've never had to like deal with.
Yeah, that's a how to raise a boy guide for single mothers.
Yeah, that's like I've never had to deal with any type of that.
If she used that as her hook in her reels, she'd make so much more money.
Yeah. But even with like my daughter, there are things that I will say that she just responds to differently with. Like there are times I'm talking to her and her mother will say something and you know, she'll pretend when she was younger, she would pretend like she didn't hear her. You keep talking to me and I will stop and say, hey, did you hear what your mother just said? And then I get a completely different response because I'm supporting my mother and what she's saying. And so there's a role for men and we need to fulfill it, whether it's a boy or a girl. And you got to allow us to fulfill that role. And if thankfully, me and her mother on the same page when it comes to raising her. We don't have any issues there. And so I can be supportive of her because she's with her mother most of the time. But yeah, this guy right here, it just seems like some quick and dirty. She pulled out a chart. Like, where are you on the face chart? Are you angry? Like, I just don't see that working too well with a boy. I think there's times you need to just snatch him up by the collar.
Right.
Toughen him up.
Of course, yeah.
Hey, because moms lead with they don't lead with consequence. They don't teach with consequence. That's why men and fathers work so well, because we lead with consequence. It goes from the fact to say, if me and Greg had altercation, we know that we don't keep shit respectful because there's a consequence that can happen if we don't.
I disagree with that though, Willie. I think
when I finish, you might not.
Go ahead.
When you talk to your son, when we're talking to our sons, we explain to them like, hey, that's not what you're supposed to do. One, they refer to our authority as our father, to our physical stature, and then two, to the message that we're giving them. If the message is tailor crafted, you say, hey, you did this. This is why it's wrong. This is what can happen if you continue to do this. That consequence, on top of the fact that it's coming from their dad, makes a huge difference, because boys aren't scared of their moms. Like, it's not natural for a man to fear a woman, because at some point he's bigger than the mom. He's stronger than the mom. He's louder than the mom. There's nothing that she can do other than say, hey, I'm going to tell your daddy. Because if you look at how these young kids are now, the reason why they're like that, they don't respect authority, is because they haven't had it growing up from a man. So when they finally do see it, they treat it like the same authority they hear from their mom. Mom say be home at 10 o'clock. They come home at 10:45, 11 o'clock. Mom say clean your room up. They don't want to. Mom say do your chores. They don't do them. But like Jacob said, you tell when a father tells his son or daughter to do something, it's almost instant. And especially when you have times like this. So now you think that a dad would ever have to sit his son down and say, hey, here's this chart of your emotions. Let's find out where you are right now. Where you should go. Okay, now you're upset. So now let's see what we could do. Like, that shit is dumb. Like, it's the consequence that gets kids back to right. It has to come from. It's better. It's more well received from a man. I want to say better, but it's better. Excuse me. It is better received from a man.
And I do agree with you, Willie. I think I was going to add this part. Like, you do have to lead with a sense of love with that as well. Like, you can't.
Oh yeah, that was a given. Yeah, my bad. That was a given.
Because some parents think that it's supposed to be, you whooping them and cussing them out all that. Like, that's one thing I never understood when parents cuss their kids out and out.
But remember that Cosby Show episode? There's one episode where he tells Theo, look, I brought you in this world, I'm going to take you out. Like, all the talking, there were moments where he still had to get up in his grill and tell him, look, I will, look.
Oh, yeah, they're going to try you again.
Yeah, we can handle this. I can handle it. Like, so even with his, fatherly dialogue, and he talked through a lot of things, there were 1 or 2 episodes that he had to get up in his face and be like, look, wait a minute. It ain't finna go the way you think it is. Yeah. So
I've had to snatch my sons all at one point in time, but that's what comes with it. I mean, but I don't have to beat I've never had to like whoop my kids though. My presence is typically what.
How old are your kids, Willie?
18, 15, and 8.
Oh man,
oh,
you
got
grown men.
Yeah, my oldest is a freshman in college. Yeah. But the point is like I haven't had to do that. And with my oldest too, they live with their mom for the majority of their life, especially when I was in the military. So, well, coming back home, I had to walk that fine line of, being happy to see him, wanting to kick it, catch up, to also, hey, correct some behaviors that I saw that they were demonstrating with their mother. Because, a lot of the times a lot of fathers get caught up in their feelings or where they are with the mom of the child, and kind of that influences how they are with their children. So just because, I don't give a shit if she died in a plane crash, I'm not going to let you treat her bad, because as a man, that's still your mother. Like, she ain't shit to me, but she's your mom. And the way that you treat your mother, it should be A, B, or C. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of the times when we have to do that, I don't think that, like, if it was a mom on the other side having to, talk to a son about how he was acting with the dad, it won't happen because we address that. So these are only problems that mothers can have.
And I think what you mentioned it happens with a lot of dads, where they trying to walk this line of not wanting to, like, if they're only I'm saying part-time parent at part-time custody. If they only have a fraction of the custody, the mom has the majority. When they do have that time, it's a struggle to be like, I don't want to be the disciplinarian in this moment because this is all I have. But in the long run, the child hurts because they're not getting that discipline they need. And so I think if a dad is balanced with loving and disciplinarian, they will adapt and adjust, because that is what feels safe. They might feel more fun on the surface with mom letting them cut up or do whatever, but you feel more secure with someone who has boundaries. And I say it's the same way. Hey, Mont, it's the same way with women. If a guy doesn't care, he doesn't get jealous, he's not bothered by anything, she's not going to feel like he really cares, versus the guy who's like, no, I know you're not going to wear that outside, or, I don't want you doing XYZ with a man. There's a level of it that says, oh, he has boundaries because he cares about me. And I think the same thing with kids on a deeper level. They feel safe when there are some sort of boundaries and there's consistency.
I think in most time, if you have a decent child, which I would like to think most people do, most kids don't want to disappoint their parents.
Well, you said most people have decent kids.
I
don't know about that one.
I don't think so, bro.
I've seen some.
You got to put some work in.
I don't know if they're. It's hard to say if the kids are decent or not. Are they allowed to act? Because when I had a daycare, they would act one way with their mom. The second they walked through the door, completely different, perfectly mannered children with me. So I don't think the kids themselves are, but I think the parents sometimes have.
I coach my son's sports teams, and I've been coaching before my other sons. I've coached for a while. I would tell you that's not the case. And what I tell you that I've seen, through these hundreds of kids that have come through my, the minute the sound of my whistle, is that the parents 99% of the time are directly responsible for how shitty their kids are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would say the only exception is if, like, the kids were adopted. Even still, it's still the parents, but like the way those kids are and the way they act, and like reflection. It's a direct reflection of their parents, and you see it when you interact with the parents too. Like, if you understand, like, oh, now I see why your son is so soft, or like, oh, now I see why he's a crybaby, like, because you over here telling him to put a hoodie on because it's 70 degrees outside playing football. Like, I get it now, but that happened, and you can't. I think I'm a really big proponent of, like, if your kids turn out to be shitty people because you were a shitty parent, like, I don't give any leeway for that, because at some point as a parent they were shitty kids too. You don't just become a shitty person as an adult.
I think there are some things that are interesting to look at, like when you have two kids coming from the same home. But I also wonder too if sometimes they have a different experience. Like, I won't say how I know this person, but there's someone I know very well, and they have a sibling, and one is like what we call a model citizen, did everything, pretty much everything, quote unquote, right. The other one is a less than desirable citizen. I won't give any specifics because it'll be obvious if they're watching. But
be a worse person.
And we'll just say, like, one is able to function on their own and the other one needs a lot of aid. We'll just leave it at that. And so, but in talking, I think one of them had said that they felt like the relationship with their mother was different. So it's interesting that two people could come from the exact same home, and there were different fathers. So I don't know if that influences, but
Of
I do
course.
think for the most part,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of it is on the parent, if not all.
For the
One of the
most
things
part,
that
women
will,
don't. Oh,
go ahead, Mark.
I was about to say, for the most part, women just don't do good job with raising children, and I think it's
Yeah.
because they're inherently nurturing. And I think that I might have a hot take. I think that you only really need a mom for like the first few years of your life. And I think from there, like the dad can just take it on, like, you know, the
Well,
dad
the
can just
science
take it on
does say
from there.
for the first 8 years of life, the mother
For the
is.
girls, it's different though, I think.
Yeah.
No, I
the
think it's the
girl needs
same.
her mom.
I think it's the same. I think only a man can raise a girl, and only a man can raise a
So
boy.
wait,
Wait,
so
you're
I
saying
got
that you don't think that a girl who gets her period for the first
I
time,
got I got you on this one.
There are
Mom,
certain
bro,
things that women.
the difference is, right? A woman, like the same way that you could only teach your son how to be a man, a mother could, you can never teach your daughter to be a woman. What you can do is install chastity, chasteness, discipline, discernment, and what it is to be a lady in her. That's what the dad does with his daughter. But with sons, though, it's drastically different. Moms are, I don't want to say useless because people that'll trigger people, but they should not be the primary parent once that child is 8, according to Harvard and them folks, right? Because that's when kids learn all things about being nurturing, how to, they need the support system. Outside of that, you got to start getting your kids ready for the world. And that's what moms fail their children on majority of the time. They don't prepare their children for the world. They protect them from it. So then when they're out there in the world by themselves, they're 22, 23 years old, still not self-sufficient.
Do you think that it would be better for a child to have an absent mother?
Yes.
Or do you think it would be better for there to be both parents in the home?
I think that there's, statistically speaking, the difference in success rates for children is negligible between a single father household and a 2-parent household.
Yeah.
It's what? It's what between the two?
It's negligible. It's like 64.2 and 61.3. It's negligible.
Super close.
Difference is, but it's also common knowledge that women produce the worst children.
Yeah, when me and Avery's mother split, that was one of the concerns I had. Like, I had this reaction where I was like, "Have I ruined her life?" Like, we had a 2-parent household. She's not gonna have that anymore. Did I do something wrong? And that was one of the things that I learned. What Willie just shared is that yes, 2-parent household is optimal, but if it's gonna be one, what I learned is my involvement was heavily weighted on her success. How involved I was, how I showed up, the things that I did outweighed dramatically her mother's involvement, which kind of shocked me. I didn't think of that at the time, but this is from professionals that told me when I went to counseling and all these types of things. And so just something I didn't know. And we talked about those things, like how I needed to show up, what I needed to do, how I needed to support her mother, all those things. But yeah, he's absolutely correct. Something I learned along in my journey, how my involvement would really shape how her life would go. So,
and when you think about it, go ahead, Greg.
One person that come to my mind when I think about this topic is my grandmother. Like, she raised 5 kids by herself, single mom, held it down, worked, the whole 9. And looking at my aunts and uncles, like, everybody turned out, for the most part, I would say decent human beings, college educated, homeowners, like, you name it. So I feel like, is it possible? Can a woman definitely raise children, male or female, and raise decent human beings? I think it's possible.
Almost anything is possible.
Yeah, we're not making the assertion that a woman can't do that. It's saying that you can't raise a boy to be a man, and that statistically speaking, women raise the worst children. Like, just look at your outcomes. Like, you got a cool family. Grandma raised 5 people. Everybody, all they got kids. They went to college. They got houses. That's cool, but you're the exception. You're not. You're nowhere. You're the minority when it comes to single woman households. They put out shit products when it comes to kids.
Yeah, I think women aren't necessarily you're nurturing. Like, the most important thing that you could ever have in this world is discipline. And your father's going to instill that in you. Your mom's it's not their strong suit. Like, if you nurture somebody, that's almost detrimental to them. Think about, like, when I think about the men who I still know that live with their mom, they're being nurtured. When you think about the men who go to school, who shoot up a bunch of stuff in the hood, and they're like, no, not my baby, not my baby. The one who's the mom's still helping them, the mom still putting money on his books and all that type of stuff. You always going to have somebody to fall back on who's going to save you, right? And that's just kind of how it is. I remember my grandma. I had a bunch of cousins. Everybody at grandma's house, no matter what they doing. One cousin gun under the mattress, the other cousin his weed here. You know, it's like they enable everything. Women don't really teach accountability for the most part. Some women do, of course. For the most part, they don't really teach accountability. I know me.
I agree.
Every time my kids do something, my daughter told me today. She said, "Daddy, I said, yo, y'all want this burger?" My two kids was like, "Yeah, we want burgers from here." The other one was like, "I don't like burgers." I said, "You telling me you don't like burgers no more?" She said, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, because listen, this is a decision that you're making. And I want you to understand how important decisions are. Okay, I want you to understand that I will never buy you another burger again if you're telling me that you don't want a burger. So is that what you want to do? I want you to really weigh that decision because it's going to be your responsibility, and this is your fault if that's the decision that you want to make long term. So really think about that.
Free life.
You will never have another burger. so don't play with me. Think about your decisions because it's going to shape your life.
What did she end up deciding?
She said, "Yeah, I don't bang with burgers. I don't want no burgers. Give me some meatballs, something like that. I don't want no burgers." I was like, "All right, cool." My
daughter was a vegetarian for about 2 weeks.
Okay.
She learned. It was funny because she was pretty old, but for whatever reason didn't click that meat came from animals, and it got really real for her when she found out like which animals specifically, and so she just couldn't do it. And then after about 2 weeks, she's like, I can't go back. But yeah, I was like, this is gonna be a rough life trying to come up with non-meat, because I come from
I had a similar experience with my son. He one of his friends is Muslim in school. So during Ramadan, they was fasting. So he came home. He said, "Dad, I want to fast. This is what I want to do. I want to support my friend." So I'm like, all right, like that was a reasonable, logic, response to what he gave me. If he just said he just wanted to do it just to do it or whatever, I probably would have had a different, response. So I supported him. I said, "But listen, if you're gonna do it, you gotta stick it out. Like you can't like one day do it and then like not do it. And like if you're gonna do it, you gotta just do it all the way to whenever it's it's over. If you're really gonna support your friend." Mm-hmm. And he did it. He stuck it out. Like there's days where I'm cooking. He was like, "Nah, I'm fasting. And I don't want it." So I thought that was dope. I feel like when your child is not only supporting other people, but also staying disciplined to what they said that they're going to do is, like Mont said, is important.
I love that. I keep forgetting that you have a child.
Yeah.
I am going to go to number 4, unless anyone has.
Ready, keep going.
I know, terrible. Yeah. Okay, so this is the test. I'm not gonna lie, I cringed when I saw it. But let's see if you guys agree with this. If this is
every nigga that's in my chat right now, do y'all do the shit where y'all be fucking with a girl, then randomly you just be like, you know what? I'm gonna see if she's gonna text me first. I'm gonna see if she's gonna reach out to me. I'm gonna see if she's gonna plan the next link, or at least not plan the next link, but tell me to plan the next link, or be like, when am I gonna see you? That type of shit. I feel like every nigga just like. It could be a month in, it could be a year in, it could be 2 weeks in, it could be the next day, right? It's just one day you just like, you know what? We're gonna see the effort on your side. You know what I'm saying? I've been showing effort. Sometimes that be the last time I ever speak to her. No cap, bro. Like, now I got a little, time period. I always do it at the same time. But it's like, sometimes you just gotta test like, damn, like, I'm gonna text you first, we never gonna speak again? I always do it, bro. You just gotta test it out to see, because a lot of the times, bro, you're the only reason y'all still communicate. You're texting her every day. You're planning every link. You know what I'm saying? You're making sure you're there. And then if you was to stop texting her today, she would never text you back ever again. So
thoughts?
I don't see an issue with it. That's why you date women who actually like you.
Right. I think that's stupid.
Well, I didn't say that, but I don't have an issue with it at all. If
like playing games, I just think that's
anytime that a woman is held like responsible or accountable, or it's not just something that's like a fairy tale. It's always like a man playing games.
He
So
literally said it's a test.
He did.
that's not a game though. That is there's nothing wrong with testing somebody. For example, I would test my woman's financial literacy about certain things because I want to see where her head is at. But if I want to see if my energy is being reciprocated, I have to test that by, okay, cool. I haven't texted her today, and then she didn't text me until I text her. The relationship where a man always has to initiate contact with the woman will never last. And then
I'm not advocating for that at all.
Not me either. I agree with that.
I'm saying any scenario, man or woman, if I have to create a scenario that would have never happened just to get the data, that's icky to me on both sides. If I have to pretend like I'm flirting with someone to see if my man's gonna get mad,
not the same thing. So wait, you see, you're catastrophized. You're going to the extreme. This is simple. Like, who's going to text? Like, if a man has to text you first, if a man doesn't text you, he's not going to talk to you.
We're not saying that. Those two things are not equal. We're just simply saying don't create this dynamic just for the sake of.
He's not creating a dynamic. He's trying to find out if that dynamic is there.
Yeah, can I ask a question? Guys, can I ask a question? So if for example, if I like a girl, right, and I just like, oh, I'm thinking about her right now, I want to text her, and I say, you know what, I feel like she may not like me as much as I like her. I'm not going to text her. I'm just not going to text her, and hopefully she texts me at some point. And a week go by, and then 2 weeks go by, and then 3 weeks go by. Do you think I shouldn't have done that, or do you think?
I think that if you do that and she hasn't written to you or whatever, then that's a sign she's not into you. But this is what I'm saying. I think that dynamic will naturally happen. I think that if you're with somebody and you are the only one who ever texts her, I think that is already your answer. Like, that has naturally happened. She's naturally never writing to you. I could see if it was in the very first week, something like that, because a woman wants to make sure, he's actually interested. But after 2 weeks, after anything past 2 weeks, I think you already have your answer if you're only the one ever texting her. I've never gone a situation where I've never texted the guy. Never.
I think I do think that it's possible, depending on your personality type, to get caught up just kind of like you, because some people don't think about that. Some people are not really strategists like that. They're just like, yo, I like this person. Oh, here's a meme. Here's this. Here's that. I want to talk to you. And they just go, it's possible they can go several weeks or a month and just never notice that this person doesn't initiate, because a lot of people are naive. Like, they are. They're just like, yo, I just like this person and I want to text this person.
If I was talking to somebody and they literally never texted me, or they never said they wanted to see, like that, I can't, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying that's so foreign to me.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that world.
I can imagine that being foreign to you.
I notice that with my friendships. Literally, I'll be like, okay, I'm not going to hit Keisha up anymore because we only hang out if I ever invite her out. She's never asked me to come over. She's never asking about me if we are on the phone. She's never asking how I'm doing. It's always me. I notice that stuff. So I can't imagine a world in which a romantic
Yonci, there are people out here, right, who have Instagram, and if a certain person is not following them back, they'll unfollow them, right?
That to me is the corniest thing I've ever heard of.
Now it depends. Now listen, I do think this, right? Now this is just my belief. I do think that you are social media illiterate if you follow more people than follow you. I think I just think so. I think you
wait, if you follow more people.
If you're following more people than you have following you, you're a cornball.
Here's my question though. If you're somebody who goes on social media, because there's two different things. There's friendships, and then there's learning opportunities. Mm-hmm. So if you're following people because you want to get fitness advice, that's what I'm saying. But how would you know who the people you're following are?
For example, let's say I follow Jacob, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say Jacob never ever followed me back, right?
But that's
and let's say I look at,
that's peer to peer.
Yeah,
we're talking about
not talking about somebody you genuinely getting information from. You don't care if your favorite influencers is following you back because you getting value from them. Yeah, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about peer-to-peer type. I'm talking about peer-to-peer type of stuff. Like if I follow Jacob, Jacob never followed me back, and depending on how many followers Jacob has, I would view that as okay. This is just like we not peers as far as in his mind. He don't think we peers or whatever. But if like for me example, right? I got a lot of followers in compared to the people I follow. It's very possible somebody might be like, you know what? Maybe he just don't notice. Because I don't notice sometimes stuff like
But
that.
you make content. That's why I'm saying it's different. Sorry to interrupt. But
Yeah.
you making so this is what I don't understand. I hope people like weigh on this. This is what I don't understand. If you follow your page, for example, you're posting a lot of really sweet stuff about you and your lady.
Hey, bro, Yonci was talking about getting a wig. I just wanted to give you a heads up to make sure if you saw any square tape packages come to your house, you shoot that shit or go out there and use it for bait when you go fishing. She talking about getting a whole hair helmet.
You're on YouTube, baby. You're on YouTube.
I appreciate you.
Hey, I had to give you the heads up, man. No hair helmets formed against you shall prosper, my boy.
Absolutely. Now, when I got people like you, bro, I appreciate that.
All right, man. Just want to let you know, bro. All right. Sorry.
He's on the lake fishing. But no, like so Mont makes sweet stuff with his girl and you know they travel and whatever, right? So let's say I am somebody who likes to see that stuff, but I show videos about me baking because I love baking. Just because I like watching your videos and I think, oh, one day I wish I had a guy like that. I'm living vicariously through you. Doesn't mean that you want to see my baking videos.
Yeah, no, that
That's
makes
why I don't
perfect
get why
sense.
people have this expectation.
That makes perfect sense. But I think a lot of times these things are just peer-to-peer through regular people following each other, you know?
But then you can't use yourself, sir.
Right, because funny story, right?
creator.
I was already following him before I even came here. So after
Mhm.
we was on here the first time, I was like, oh, that's the dude I be following him and his girl. I thought it was
Oh,
so
Drew, I
corny.
didn't
I
even
was like
know.
a groupie, like a little groupie.
Oh,
I was like, dang, I already followed him. That is messed up.
And I feel like it's
I
not.
believe in divine connections all the time with stuff, so that's why.
I feel like it's not realistic. Like for me, you know, obviously I make content. However, when I open my Instagram, this is why I don't understand when people follow thousands of people. If I open my Instagram, I want to be inspired immediately or laugh. And so I have a private page where I follow my friends and family and I post my kids and stuff like that. But on my page, I'm following people that are going to teach me how to do my business better, inspire me to do content, or make me, well, I don't really have something that makes me laugh. It's really just those two things.
Shit, I'm hilarious. Wait a second. What?
I mean, I don't follow those pages. They see what I laugh at or stuff I click on from you and they start sending me that stuff, but I don't follow that stuff. So I follow a lot of my peers in the dating space or whatever. So for me, let's say, for example, if Keisha was like, took an offense and was like, oh my God, she's not following me back. No shade, but I'm not trying to like keep up. I'm trying to just be about my business and get off. So I'm on the side of, I don't think people should put a lot of social weight on there. You know, if I find a DJ that I really like and I start following him, I have no expectation that he's going to follow me back. Like, why would the DJ want to hear my dating coach? Like, he might be married.
However, you should still never follow more people than follow you. That just shows that that's just a one-on-one social media. Do not do. If you're older, I get it, you know, but like as far as at least if you're in my generation, or Willie and under, like you should pretty much know, like, don't be that guy.
Y'all not in the same.
Almost all my followers
Willie about 10
follow like
years
1,000 plus.
I'm
people.
41.
Right. I was like, he's old.
What's the generation? How long is that?
No, we in the same generation. You're a millennial too. I'm at the top end of it. Yeah.
I'm on the bottom end. Right. That's right.
You're in your 30s.
I'm following 460 people, and I have almost 40,000 followers. I will never in life follow 5,000 people, let alone
that's ridiculous.
40. Like that's.
But I think the average person, it's the other way. Like, because I greet every woman who follows me. Most of them are following. Huh?
Well, when it comes to dudes, the average dude is a cornball. We agree with you.
No, I'm saying like an average woman, right? I look at her stuff. She's normally following like 1,500 people. And then she might have a handful of followers. because the people that are following her probably know her in real life.
The rule is the
People
rule.
she's
Yonci.
following are people that she.
But
See,
there's
that's-
also
I need to do some deletions. 'cause-
Yeah, do some
You're
deletions.
fine,
this is when it's a double standard though, because if a woman has too many followers, I'm not fucking with her at all.
right.
But it's a sweet
Like,
spot though.
if you have to me, if you have over 10,000 followers, I don't like nothing you post. Like, I'm not gonna interact with nothing you post unless it's like you graduating from college or unless you're trying to be a nurse. I don't give a shit about them. But like outside of that, like I'm not, because like I know you get
You ain't
too
no
much
lame.
attention, and I'm not corny
Mhm.
and I'm not lame. So my attention comes comes with a premium. If you getting, you know,
Mhm.
9,000 likes on a picture you from the side doing the foot lift thing because you just got your hair done, I'm not gonna like that. I'm gonna see the ass and be like, oh, that ass is ass.
But Willie, check this out though, Willie. Even if she got 2,000 followers, but she averaged like 500 likes on her Jones, you ain't liking that either.
At all, no.
So
My
he's
attention's
actually
not-
hurting. You're actually hurting the person's algorithm
Yeah.
if you follow them out of pity. Because I have 659 people I'm following, right? I'm not scrolling through 659 posts every time I open. I'm going to see this 4, maybe 5 posts from the people I'm following. So the more people you start following, the less likely you are going to see people's posts. Who's sitting there looking through 600? But if I follow someone's page out of pity, like, oh, I don't want to feel rude, I'm hurting their analytics because the percentages of people who are engaging.
We don't give a damn about these people analytics unless they pay us.
You should.
Like if you
You
look
should
at
care if you're saying that they should have less people following them than they follow.
I care
They
about
should
the
be following
influencers
less
that
people
support.
than they have following them.
Yeah. So they should be following less people than they have followers.
That's
so if you have
it's really
10,000
ridiculous.
followers, you shouldn't be following 20,000 people.
And you also should never follow 7,500 people either, because that's the max, and that's ridiculous too.
You can't follow more than how many?
7,500.
That's the max, and you should never be at. Should never reach the max of following.
I just never understood when you say, when you follow me, I'll follow you back. Like, hi.
But you're learning. You're learning though.
No, I think when I started Instagram, I just started following stuff that I like. I said, "Are you on my page?" Because I am here. Y'all describing me right now.
And you might have did that thing where they said, "Oh, follow everybody on Facebook and all that."
Yeah, when they was doing those things, and you follow me, I follow you, and all that.
I've always hated that rule.
What rule?
So I don't
like if you follow me, you got to follow me. But I hate that because I might not like your content.
Don't follow the rule. I don't follow that rule because it all depends on social media, social class. I'm sorry, it matters. It all depends on that. So you know who you gotta follow back and who you don't gotta follow back, and you know that you know who it is.
You follow the people that got motion, and you don't the people who don't.
Exactly. There we go. You got motion. You can get a follow.
People, how come you not following me? I follow because I don't want to follow you. I know what you look like naked already. I don't have to see it on Instagram.
Don't be like
that. Like if you look at the people I follow, it's people that I know in real life. People I know in real life. We'll say half of them, right? It's split between inspirational pages. I'm big in AI right now, so everything I'm following is AI based. But just say of the 200 women that I follow, 200 people I follow, I know 150 of them in real life. Other 50 have paid me to follow and promote something they've done before. So the business aspect aside, like I'm not just dry ass following people. Like that's crazy. I used to follow people. Used to follow people when I was trying to watch them and observe them before I shot a shot or wanted to do something like that. But I don't have that problem now. So
I started trying to delete people, but it's such a hard job. Like I wish it was a thing where you can just click.
Listen,
just delete.
I went through that years ago, and I did it a long time ago. I had the apps, and I used it to help me unfollow people a long time ago. I put that work in. So you just got. It might be too late now, but
do you know they have an
I'm
app
maxed out.
now?
I can't get nobody else.
There's an app that people can look to see who unfollowed them, and I was like, who has that much time? One, I don't even say that much time on your hands. Who cares if someone unfollows? Like for me, honestly, the only thing I'm concerned about is I'm trying to understand how so many people unfollow, and this happens with everybody. Like the biggest creators, whatever, like they'll show their insights. You might get 300 follows in a month. And then you'll get like another you get like 300 followers and then 300 unfollowers. I'm just like, are all these people can't be upset. It has to be people who get
the bots.
Yeah, they're like either bots or they're people who I get so many people who are trying to sell me stuff.
Whoa. Hey, what's this noise?
Oh, the clock is running out. That's what Jacob said. But I get all these people who are like, it's so obvious. So if anyone's watching this who's a marketer, don't do this. They'll start all of a sudden liking a bunch of things. They'll make very generic comments like, oh, yes, great advice. Women should know that. And then, boom, here they come in my DM. I can teach you how to sell your courses. I've helped this. And I'm like, it's so obvious. You can see it a mile away. So I think those people go through and follow to try to get leads. And then when they don't get them, you know, they
So Yonci, you don't care about unfollows? So Yonci, if I unfollowed
I
you,
know who they are in particular.
If I unfollowed you and then you realized that I unfollowed you and I never told you, you just were like, that's odd. Mott don't follow me. Like, how would that make you feel?
You probably wouldn't notice. I probably wouldn't notice. The only time I knew someone
if you did notice, if you just happened to somebody else let you know, like, hey, Mott don't follow you back, and you're like, what? That's crazy.
But I knew at one time you did follow me.
Yeah.
I might be curious to know if you if I offended you in some kind of a way. I'd probably be more. Yeah, I'd probably be more wondering, like, did I do something to offend you? Because I knew I wouldn't think it was a person. I would think, like, did I?
Yeah.
Thank you, Chavis. I think it's Chavis. Thank you so much. He said, keep posting the real ones today. The fakes go away. Oh, I love that. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I think I don't know. I would probably never ask you.
But you would always kind of like hold it in there. You know, that's not healthy.
I probably wouldn't give it much brain. I would think about it in the moment, like, I wonder if I did something. I might even ask Willie, like, hey, did Mont say anything that, you know, he's on offensive or whatever?
Willie's like, I never heard anything about it.
And then I probably would never bring it up again.
I was looking for one. I just looked at our mutual followers. We need to have a conversation. But the second thing is that
me and you or you and Mont?
No, me and you.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm crazy. That's so wild. Anyway, what I was about to say was I was looking for a message that I got a long time ago from a girl who was like, I saw you unfollowed me. I'm glad I didn't give you none. I'm glad I didn't give you none because I would have known what you really wanted. And I was like, how do you see that I unfollowed you? Because I thought that she got a notification. And I had just did a mass unfollowing. That's all it was. Like, I was trying to stay under 500. That was my goal. I'm going to get under 200 now. So and she sent me the message, and I was like, wait, you glad you didn't give me none because I unfollowed you on Instagram?
Like, I think it's a younger person thing.
No, that girl is 42 years old.
I've had people like confront me about me not following them, which is the most cringy thing you can do in your life.
It was a dude, wasn't it?
I gotta think. I think I've had it from both. But it'll be like, oh, you're not following me, or, you know, they'll like joke and say, oh, well, you know, since you don't follow me back, like trying to fish. And I'm just like, if I start following every single person who follows me, I'm never going to see any of the content I want to see. It's just super awkward.
Yeah, you can't follow everybody that follows you because you got more than 7,500 followers.
It would be awkward. It would be super awkward.
I just don't. I don't care. I don't care about social media that much. Maybe I need.
Do not scream at me. Go to your room if you're gonna cry about it. We're not raising a little crybaby.
Sorry. That was not intentional. Sorry, Jacob.
Jacob, you gotta be under a certain age to even affect your social class. This don't affect your social rank at all.
Wait,
I promise you, I'll go to my page and I'll find I got like 20 people that I haven't accepted some response to, and I'll be like, oh crap, like I just don't care enough. I get on, I jump on for a few minutes, like a few photos, listen to a few videos, and I'm off. If you try to talk to me through social media, you'll find out I'm very unresponsive.
It's a generational thing.
I noticed on the men's page, because the number's so low. And I remember when it hit 1,000, I was like, okay, that's a nice, easy number to remember. If I'm doing, marketing stuff, I'm like, hey, over 1,000 men, da, da, da. And then at one point it dropped like 20 guys. that I gave thought to because I was like, hey, I want
business thing.
You said, yeah, exactly. I was like, if there's, my thought was this group is a mixed group. There are some singles and some men who are in relationships or married. And for a while, I was doing so many singles features that I was like, but it was more from a business perspective. Like, I wonder if I'm turning guys off by having too many singles, or I wonder if this is a sign that the questions aren't deep enough. So it was from a marketing perspective, but it wasn't like, oh my God, who was it? Timmy who unfollowed me? Let me.
It was because they got girlfriends off your page, and the girlfriends are insecure and don't want them following you no more.
I mean, yes.
Like, why do you want to follow her? We're in a relationship now. Y'all can't be friends. She's a dating coach, and you're in a relationship.
Well, they said, Jacob, you said you don't try to hit you on social media, but what about the private chat here on StreamYard? I don't know if you
that either.
respond on this too.
Am I supposed to respond? Did I miss something? Tell me.
I asked the question.
That was my big hint.
I could have wrote it in the live group, but I was just because he said you in a different generation. So
let me
I
see.
said, how dare you? You in a different.
I don't even know how generations work, man. I just think if you 10 years older than me, I just think that it's a different generation. I could be wrong.
He's 10 years older than you. That's why I asked how old you are.
I think generations.
I would have figured he's at least 42 at minimum.
Oh, now Chavis said this is true. A lot of women will lose followers if they announce they have a boyfriend or husband. Men too.
Yeah.
No, I don't think women lose followers when they got a boyfriend.
I've literally had people be upset and in their feelings when they found I was in a relationship, as though they had a chance. And then started about
why that last part? Why that last part? So keep going though.
Just in case you're watching.
Talking about doing a social media break, and I will do this.
Hey, you stopped the clock. Did you stop the clock sound?
I did, and there are only 3
you
minutes
tried
left.
to be funny.
I mean, I gave him a 10-minute warning, but if somebody goes off social media, it reflects on your page as losing a subscriber. So if I have 1,000 men following my page and someone takes a break and like turns their account off or pauses their account, it'll show $9.99, and then if they rejoin, it goes back up to 1,000. So that is something. So if a bunch of people are taking breaks, that will also reflect. Okay.
But can we get back to the topic?
Who takes breaks?
Finish the topic.
I think taking breaks from
breaks.
I think taking breaks from social media is probably damn. This is definitely gonna be clipped. I think that is probably some of the most mentally weak shit ever, especially when you do it because like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. No, you're like, I think that you are softer than baby feces if you let your social media bother you like that as an adult. As a child, different.
What if you're spending too much time on it?
I disagree.
That's my point.
Like, I'll tell you why I disagree, Willie. I think social media can it can grab you and pull you in. Not because of what people are saying, but like you could just be watching cat videos and you like, God damn, I said I was about to go to this grocery store and I'm
mentally weak. You're not listening.
Yeah, but in order to fix that, you got to stop the bleeding. You know,
what's the trigger?
Or you can
like
keep
you say,
watching
listen, I'm gonna watch this for 30 minutes, and then you saying do it for 30 minutes. After minute 31, bro, you weak to me. It's because I'm talking about for guys specifically because we're men. But like this discipline, if you got shit to do, like if your social media is stopping you from doing stuff, or like scrolling on TikTok is keeping you from getting your business done, I can't say the S word here, but that's just mentally.
Well, I guess I would agree with him though. It is weak, and it's like a deficiency that somebody would probably know that they need to fix, and they would do it by canceling, not using their phone as much or their social media. But I agree, it does show that you are not disciplined, and it's something that you got to fix.
Yeah, when I'm locked in, I will put this phone down and not touch it. If I'm doing something, I can care less about it.
We just had a 30-minute extension, ladies and gentlemen. So the show is not ending in 1 minute, as you may have thought. But thanks to Uncle Willie, we are going for 30 more minutes.
Damn, I'm an uncle now. That's crazy.
Kenny been calling you Uncle Willie.
Kenny like 20 years older than me though. Like Kenny like 52.
I mean, maybe he looks up.
No, he talking about Uncle Willie like from Friday when he's like, you Uncle Willie's son.
Oh,
okay. No, that's cool, Kenny. I'm not tripping off that.
Okay. All right, we're gonna move to question number 5. Oh, where's my? Thank you, Keisha. Well, that's a cute picture. She sent in $20 love offering. Thank you, pretty girl, coming on the panel and showing love in the comments. That is the MVP right there. Okay, so let's get to number 5. He said I'm being called Unc now. I'm 43. That is funny. Jacob, did you ever share your age or did you keep that to yourself?
Oh, I didn't.
I've been waiting. Been
I think I'm
ignoring.
the senior one on the panel.
Talk to me. Talk to me. Let me. And this is maybe just a fear. I don't put too much personal on social media.
Okay.
That my identity stolen. That's just a thing. And maybe I need to get over it, but that's a thing.
I won't tell
He
you.
talking about he talking about right now?
Yeah, just anywhere. I don't
This
put
is
too
not
much out
social
there.
media, Jacob.
Okay, you have to talk. You have to coach me.
Give her a range. You say like, oh, I'm
He should know where to find me if she want to talk. She don't have to ask me.
I ain't mad at that.
I mean, she did write in the private chat, but I'm just saying.
I ain't mad at that.
Okay, moving right along. We can read the room, sir.
You said they privacy going to have a chat.
Huh?
Oh, you said private chat, not their privates are going to have a chat. My bad.
Oh, no.
Like wow.
You see the private chat. I'm talking to all of y'all.
That was
These your friends, Keisha. These your friends.
Hey, listen. Hey, so look, Yonci, you saw I just saw the top of your head right now. If that was a wig, I'd have been pissed off. Like if I was saying I'd have been mad as shit. I'm not even gonna hold you. I like
just open the door.
It's something about like look at the top of a woman's head and seeing that wig shit. Like you can't even put your head anyway. Like it's just a lot. I hate it.
It's the lifting right here for me, the little flap.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
When I was younger, I was in an all-white community, so I didn't know anything about anything as far as like hair and stuff like that. And so, thank you, Kita. $2 super chat. Thank you. So I would get women who would be, or girls who would be like, "Oh, your hair's so pretty," and they'd kind of pet it, and I didn't think anything of it.
Ooh.
And then I'd have ones that were like, "Oh, you know," and so when I got, well, I mean, like this. So when I got a little bit older, I ended up seeing a black, having a black friend, and she said, "Girl, they are trying to feel for your tracks." I was like, "What? All this time, I thought they were just giving me some affection." And she said, "No, girl, they were trying to see if that's all you in there."
Right. Hating on the low.
All right, so here's the video. Hopefully it comes up because it's not previewing correctly. But
a woman who made.
Okay, so I just apologize in advance.
The accent killed me already.
Because I know you're going to be. Someone said he looked like Tom Cruise, a Hispanic Tom Cruise. All right, here we go.
Comfortable all the time is not true love. If you want a woman who truly loves you, get ready to be challenged by her. This idea that a woman should only be soft and loving and constantly appease us men comes from a wound. It comes from a wound that needs to control a woman to feel more secure in our manhood. All of this comes from insecurity. A woman who truly loves us will call us out on our bullshit. That is true love.
Can we point out the one he is in Italy? He's not in a westernized country where this conversation even happens. And I'd be damned if Derek Jackson's spirit didn't possess him over there. Like,
so he actually moved there from America because he said the women are so trash out here.
Exactly. So shut up.
And he teaches men how to leave the country and start a new life. That's what he said. But I wanted to know, would you want a woman who never challenges you? Mingo, thank you so much for the $20 love offering. I appreciate that so much. He said Temu. Is it Temu Cruz. Temu Cruz.
Like
that is hilarious.
Damn.
That is hilarious. Got Tom Cruise on Wish. Okay, so let me go ahead and why can't I find the little button? There we go. Okay, so do you want a woman who excuse me, who never challenges you? Oh, y'all, I forgot to give you the tea from the guys on the last one. This is that he said for the test. 81% said it is a good test that the guy did to see if she never calls. All right, so that's the other one. And I believe would this method help? Yeah, it messed me up because the thing kicked off all my graphics or whatever. So let me put up the graphic really quick for the lady and her parenting advice really quick. Here we go. Nope. Is this a good? No, that's the wrong one. My bad. There we go. Here we go. So 64% actually said yes, they definitely think that would help, that method. And then 36% said no, the tough love method is more effective. So interesting how differently they saw it than the panel. All right, so we're going to move on. So do you want a woman who never challenges you?
Why do I want a woman that challenges me? Like what?
8% said I would prefer that. 46 said, which forgive the question mark, no, I'm okay with being challenged. And then 46% said it's not that simple. And I will explain in a comment, which I will read those after you guys share your thoughts.
We got to, it depends on the definition of challenge for one.
Perfect.
I do believe, I use the word challenge a lot. Like if I'm talking to somebody and they have a perspective and I'm like, hey, I just want to challenge that. I'm not using that in a way of like, yo, I want to argue with you. I'm saying I'd like to present you with something and see if you have any rebuttal that could, enlighten me or make me think. So I think that in terms of challenge in that way, I love that, right? Your woman is supposed to be another set of ears, another perspective, somebody who can see possibly your deficiencies. And, she can kind of let you know and let you know what she sees so that you can correct it and, maybe change course or whatever. But in terms of challenge, like, yo, you didn't take the trash out, or like, yo, you need to be a better man than me and all that. I don't want none of that. Like you can challenge me in the way that I first spoke about of like, hey, I see that you are thinking about this. I'd like to offer you this and see what you think about that. That's what I want. I don't want like, nah, I'm not, all that type of stuff. I don't want none of that.
I would say for me, challenging would be to try to push him. I would think about pushing. So let's say, for example, if he doesn't have healthy boundaries with his family, maybe encouraging him to speak up to his mother. If maybe she's, kind of pushing him around.
You said encourage. You got to use the right word.
Yeah, encouraging. That's not challenging. That's encouraging.
Well, I'm saying challenge overall, like to be a better version of himself. Like, so I guess I would say it's pushing them out of their comfort zone. So maybe they just have like a regular basic job and they're not really spending their time wisely, but you are saying, hey, like, why don't you cut back on the video games and spend more time, prospecting or whatever the case may be. And then now he's stepping it up. I think women do challenge men in some ways. And so I hear what you're saying. You say maybe it's the word that's a problem, but maybe he always dressed kind of slovenly. And she says, hey, let me take you to this clothing place and get you some fitted suits and all that. So I guess it's like an upgrade. Like I think of it from a sense of pushing a person out of their comfort zone for the end result of them being better, not fighting with them.
Yeah, but I think what they just said, women just see the world differently. And that perspective is valuable to a man. If he just sees certain things, and they're just certain situations I think women just, it's an intuition, it's something they have we just don't have. And to use that to benefit a man, if that's called challenging him, okay, then whatever. But I think when I watch these little pop the balloon shows, you just see a lot of women that just don't know how to articulate how they're feeling and how to talk to a man, which is why most of them leave single. And so when I hear challenge, I hear a lot of women that really don't know what they're doing. I hate to be so blunt with it. They really don't know how to talk to men. They don't know how to do what I heard Mott just describe. A good woman does what Mott just said. Like she's going to help you be better because she wants you to be better. She cares about you, and she knows what that means for the lifestyle and family that y'all are trying to build. I don't think most women have that. I think, as a matter of fact, I think a lot of women don't have that sort of ability to talk to a man a certain way. I was watching a video of all people, George W. Bush, And he talked about his wife the way Mont just said. And she, the way she spoke about him, I used to think George Bush was a bumbling idiot till I watched this video of him and his wife in his own words. And what she described about him is what Mont was saying, like how she talked to him and she encouraged him and motivated him to do certain things. He was already disciplined and did a lot of good things, but she made him better to some degree. So I just, that's what I tend to think about, but I don't think a lot of people really understand what that means.
So how do you think that, can you give any examples of, let's say if she feels like he's not giving it his all and he could do so much more, but maybe he's prioritizing, fun. And so he's not, maybe his job is one where it's like he's rewarded the more he puts in and he's putting the minimum. How would she encourage him in a way that is motivating?
She can't, because that's selfish. Because if he's got enough, he's putting in what he knows he needs to make the house run, and she wants him to put in more so he can get more. There's a need. It's a personal need she has attached to that.
But what if he's complaining about the lack of finances?
Then he's done.
In his mind, he doesn't think that he's.
That's wrong. If that's the case, like, okay, so what you said at first, she's the issue. The second part that you added, he's the issue. Because if you're complaining about a problem that you have that you can solve, then you're an idiot and you don't deserve to be the head of a household.
That's normally what women do. Is complain about things, and then we are like, well, how about you do this? And then they're like, freak you, get out of here.
But check,
you're too sensitive.
But check this here. Let's say, for instance, if let's say Ma did have a girl and she saw this video of him. I'm trying to phrase this correctly. If she saw him doing this video and talking right now, she came to him and said, baby, I saw you on that video. You do a really good job. That's something you should consider. You could probably make money at that. Like, that's what I tend to think about, sort of motivating. Like, I saw this in you. I think, you know what? You should think about this, babe. I think you're really good at this. You might want to pick that up. Or I saw this when you were doing this. You were really excited. Do you like that? You might want to put some time there. I don't know. You got really motivated when I saw you in this. When I saw you this way, it's something you should think about. Like, that's what I typically mean when a woman's motivating and encouraging.
Men don't want to be challenged. We want to be encouraged. Those two words are not synonymous at
Agreed.
all. So what do you do when real situation, there is an imperfect person? So in the situation where the guy is imperfect, just like the woman's imperfect, and she sees a shortcoming, how does she encourage him?
Simply be mindful.
Or the first she needs to understand that who are you to say it's a shortcoming? You just may be your opinion. So they need to have that conversation with the man.
I could give some. Maybe he's horrible with spending. Maybe he's let himself really go out of shape.
It's still horrible to her though. To him, he's okay. I'm not trying to be funny. Nobody gets fat unless you're okay with it. You choose to get fat. No one cares about their spending habits until they have a family to protect, and then the weight of shame becomes behind not being able to provide from them. But to him, whoever the man that's doing that, he's okay with that because he's doing it. If he wasn't okay with those things, he wouldn't do them.
Okay, so what's the answer then? Does she just divorce him then?
No, it's not that. She tells him like, hey, this is how I feel, and they have a conversation for it. But challenging him the way that comes off is never going to work for a guy coming from his mouth.
So give me an actual example.
She
wants to tell him that he's spending, in her feeling, she feels like he's spending way too much time playing video games and not putting effort into his business, which is resulting in him not getting a lot of sales, which means that money is really tight. And he's really let himself go. He used to go to the gym every single day, and now he's lucky if he gets in there once a quarter. So
in English, hey babe, listen, you know why money is so tight? Because okay, cool, right? You spend 8 hours a day working, but you spend 6 hours a day on the game.
That's not challenging.
No, that's her expressing herself. She's not challenging him. She's telling him how she feels. Now,
that's why I want an example, because
that's the thing. It's not challenging. She's going down.
I'll give you an example.
You state the example. You state the issue, and then you encourage him to listen. If I'm just saying, this is what I was thinking. If you cut your game time in half and pour those extra 3 hours into your business, that's going to be an extra, 3 hours a day times 5, 15 hours a week, and you working 40 produces this much money, then we should automatically assume that you put another 15%, another 40% of your time into your business is going to make us 40% more money as well. Like,
the channel be okay with that?
She can show that. But it's how she comes to him. You can't come to him with that, like, well, I'm not going to do the head thing because my head is big. but like all the neck rolling and finger wagging and shit, you can't do that.
But
You can't be accusatory either. You need to make sure he understands that you were just telling him how you feel and sharing an idea or a solution to a problem. Because men are problem solvers. If a woman comes to us with a solution that's well articulated, substantiated, and then also spoken with love, there's not very many men who are going to run from that.
So the men on the panel, would you be okay with that? If your woman said, "Hey, I noticed you spend a lot of time playing video games." If you did, basically what Willie just said.
I'll give you a real life example.
You're not answering. Okay.
Oh, I want her. I mean, as long as she can say, as long as she say it right, that's all that matters.
That's what I'm saying. Is he saying it right in this role play?
I don't remember how he said it.
I said, so if she comes to you and says, "Hey, you spend 8 hours a day on your game. Excuse me, 6 hours a day on the game, 8 hours a day on your business." So, but you also know, like, our money's kind of tight. Like, we got, we're trying to buy a new car, but we whatever. So, how about this? If you cut your gaming time in half and you spend an extra 3 hours a day on your business, that's going to give you 15 extra hours a week that you put into your business. If you make X amount of money working 40 hours a week, it's safe to say that if you work an additional 40% of those hours, you'll make an additional 40% of whatever that money is. That solves our problem with money. And then it lets me want to be, it lets me feel a little more safe and secure in our financial position. And she just says it with love. And she doesn't just go
I don't like it.
Why?
Sound like the leader.
Because she came up with an idea and a solution?
It just sound like Willie. It just sound like you.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
It sound like I'm talking to Willie.
But yeah, I mean, I get that.
So that would be a problem. You would want her to keep it to herself?
No, I don't want her to keep it to herself. I just wanted to be feminine when she
So how would she be feminine? I'm saying y'all keep saying this in principle. We need to hear.
I'm gonna tell you what I like. I like women who are big babies. That's what I like. If you give me those eyes, if you just, you can have whatever you want. So you can present me with anything.
So give it in this example. How would she deal with that big baby?
Just like say, sit next to me and just say like, she can look up to me with them eyes and she can say, like, hey, I just, I would let her spend more time with you, but you always playing a game. And I'm
what if it's specifically about him working? Like he's not hitting his numbers, and she knows he's spending a good bit of time playing games, and so she knows that he steps it up, he's not going to struggle as much because he doesn't have a realistic view of how much time he's spending on the game.
Yeah, then she can just come to me and she can just say, she can sit next to me and she can hold my arm, and I can be like, "What's wrong?" And she can say, "I'm scared."
If she does it naked, you can never take it wrong. You take your clothes off, the naked always comes across.
But I like where you're going. You said, "I'm scared."
She just say, I feel a little scared, or I feel a little, insecure, and I'm gonna be like, well, talk to me and tell me what's going on. And she can say, I just I see you playing the game a lot, and it just makes me a little fearful for where we're going or finances, or I just feel like you might be spending too much time playing the game, and then will be my time to say, I understand why you feeling that way, but I got this covered. This is what I got going on. This right here, and I'm right here is not taking up nothing from what we got going on. Or I can say, you know what, I get that. I understand. Maybe I could, play the game a little bit less. But I think it's like when I'm having conversations with people, I never want to tell them what to do. I always try to challenge them to think by like saying things that's like, let's see, where this can kind of
presented what her issue was and left it up to you to find the solution.
Exactly. And we can try to find a solution together. I'll ask her questions and stuff like that. But I don't like it when a woman comes to me with solutions. I really don't. Because women tend to the problem solving skills just generally not there. Not for you, but for a lot of women,
a lot of times
they just generally aren't there. Like I notice my girl, like a lot of times when she's like trying to come up. So for example, like when it comes to diets, right? She'll always be like, "Oh, I should try this and I should try that and I should try this and I should try that." And I'll be like, "You know what? Maybe we should get back to the basics. You're not drinking enough water. You know that. You're not drinking enough water, are you?" And she'll say, "No, I'm not." And I'll say, "You're not getting enough sleep, are you? You haven't been sleeping." She'll say, "Yeah, I'm not sleeping." And I'm like, I'll basically be like, "All right, here are the basics. These are the things you got to account for first before you start trying this diet from the Mediterranean, right? You just got to account for these things first. and then we can do that. But a lot of times, like I know at least my girl, she jumps for the furthest thing before you account for the things that should be accounted for first. And that's just going to give you really bad data, if you just operating backwards like that. So,
and I think for me, like what I have experienced with men, there's a lot of ego there. Yeah. And, it just is what it is. Like we're humans. We can't act like we don't have things like ego, just like with women.
What is that noise?
That is the clock running out, sir. That was so weird. He's like coming from nowhere. He just had a voice.
Background.
Yeah. But I found that like if I play dumb a little bit and be like, oh my God, I have this problem. Like exactly what you said. I have this fear that we're not going to have enough. It is way more palatable. And then it allows the man to be like, I'm the hero. I have the answer. And then they can come up with it. When half the time, like it's already what I wanted anyway. But if it's their idea, then it goes over so much better.
So, my ex.
Just do it naked. You can't go wrong.
I feel like you play too many games.
So my ex, I said, so because he on social media a lot, right? So I said, hey, listen, I know you're trying to be a content creator now. Right? Oh, sure. I know you're trying to monetize. I get that. I try to do all that. Maybe I got a different set of eyes. Anyways, I said, but the thing that with me is I feel like, or no, I didn't say feel. Let me correct that. I said, I think you spend more time. I wish you would spend more time with me or spend some more time with me than on social media, because he goes on social media. He says, he's spills his guts about how great women are, how beautiful they are. I think I was telling you a little bit and saying all that. So I said, well, can you just channel some of that energy that you use to the masses of your 20, 30,000 followers? Can you shift some of that energy over here to me? That's all I ask.
How'd you say it?
Like I'm saying to you now.
Okay.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious. Y'all know I ain't lied to you yet. None of y'all yet. I said, hey, can you shift some of that energy, the energy that you have? Can you give me some of that energy? He said, I don't see what the problem is. He said, it doesn't take a lot of energy. He was like, I don't understand what your issue is. I said, well,
like it's not being taken from you. How he's feeling.
Yeah, he's saying it doesn't take from me. But I felt like, well, he's feeling like that because we was in 2 different cities. So he's saying when he made his videos, he was at home, he was by himself, right? So it shouldn't have taken away from me. And he didn't understand
Did you feel like y'all weren't talking on the phone enough? Or texting enough?
Yeah.
You said y'all weren't together, y'all were like different states?
Yeah, well, so only time we would talk, he wasn't a big phone person, I guess, right? So I felt like all that energy that he was using, he could come up, like he had so many creative ways of how to treat a woman, so many creative ways of, he was like, I'm just saying what they want to hear. That's what he said. Probably to this day, I just say what they want to hear. So it's not a lot of energy. And I'm like, babe, it is energy. You got to make the video. You got to put the song to it. You got to, write the words and all of that. So it does take energy. I'm just saying that loving energy that you telling them women, yes, you are beautiful. You deserve blah, 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 blah. And you should, why don't you tell me that? That's all I was saying. But he never got
it. If I may, thank you so much, Candace. She put 20 minutes on the clock. So we are going to keep going for another 20. Well, technically it's 40 at this point because
you don't know. You don't be checking your Zelle.
Because it didn't give me an alert.
But don't forget what you was gonna say, because I be like,
okay. Oh, now it shows on an email, but usually it'll send a text. And so Mont also. What'd you say?
I said I might not be on here that long, and we'll see.
Okay, so Mont put another 30, so thank you. What I was gonna say is sometimes before I realized that you were saying he gets really creative on there, I found with guys that they deal better, in my experience, with very specific stuff. So like when Mont asked that question, do you guys not talk a lot on the phone, things like that? I was going to say, maybe be as specific as possible and say, hey, can we talk more often? Or I had to figure out, I was missing something with Monte. And I realized that even though we spend a lot of time together, we're with each other 24/7, we both work from home, so you would think like, oh, you guys have enough time. I realized that to me, quality time is interacting and me getting in his brain, me knowing something that I wouldn't know unless you open your mouth and told me. So I had to first figure that out instead of just being like, make me feel more loved. I had to realize I would like at least 10 minutes a day where we are conversing. It could be sitting on the couch. It could be on the porch. It could be going for a walk, but I don't want to be side by side. And for him, he was showing what he thought I wanted by sitting next to me watching TV. So sometimes they'll need very specific things. But so I think if the more specific you are, because if you say, bring that same energy, maybe be very specific about a video and say, hey, in this video, you mentioned.
I did.
Oh, okay. So then that's what I would recommend.
I used to save the video, say, see how you said this? I would like you to say this to me. You know what I mean? We broke up now. It don't matter. But that was part of my issue because he just kept saying, I don't see what your problem is. I don't see.
I can't stand when somebody dismisses what I'm saying. I could be wrong in some universe, but I hate being invalidated and dismissed. So I like to say things like, what am I missing? Or what brought you to say that? Because we've had times where Monte was upset at me and it was something that was like, I didn't do anything. There was nothing mean I didn't do. But when we actually talked, he perceived something or thought I was referring to something and it could get cleared up. But if I were to just be like, no, you have no right to be upset. Like, no, you're actually upset because in your mind, something is really happening and then let's figure it out. Or there might be a time where I actually did something and pissed him off. But just to immediately dismiss, ooh, bad.
That's why we broke up. Sorry.
He ain't here no more. All right. I got to make sure I mark down months before I forget. There we go.
Bless you.
All right. So did we thoroughly cover this topic here?
Yeah.
Okay. I think so. Oh Lord, what is today? Okay, there we go. Okay, y'all, my bad. So we're in overtime now. Let's see. I'll read a couple actually of the men's comments. There's a difference between a woman being challenging, i.e. difficult, argumentative, uncooperative, and a woman challenging someone or something. I'm all for being with a woman who would challenge me to be the best version of myself. But the last thing I want is a woman who's difficult to deal with. They are not the same. If she's challenging, no. If she positively challenges me to be better and improve, yes. As long as it's constructive, positive, and reciprocal, we challenge each other in love, support, and respect. Last one I'll read. If it is a challenge that builds us, that's fine. But in the West, a lot of this challenge is conflict that does not have much growth, or probably doesn't lead to much growth. Arguing is just to argue. If you want to read all of the comments, because we do not read all of them here on the show, make sure you join my Patreon page. You can find it here at patreon.com/Yonci. And I have put it here on the screen for you. Go ahead and take a screenshot if you want to. And it not only lets you get all the tea, but it also helps me with my brand. It allows me to give as much as I do. And I don't have to go work at Walmart. Okay, so it is a free for all. Anybody have any topics that they would like to discuss? You can weigh in the comments as well. Anything that happened that you guys want to discuss? Otherwise, I will go digging through my archives and see what videos I found interesting this week. Don't everyone talk at once.
I feel like I'm always having stuff. So I always got a story.
Yeah.
No, listen, the more you tell us story, we realize like bro just didn't like you.
Right. I think I agree with you.
Dang.
That was crazy.
I know, as harsh as that sounds.
But that's odd though. For him to marry her and not like her.
We talking about two different ones. Remember, you got my ex-husband and then my ex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and it's not really too odd for a dude to marry somebody either. She was in the military. Tricare is a motherfucker. You understand?
Right. And look, he get married again. So I think he just like the benefits. I mean, he getting married to the Kirby girl that used to come to our house and sell us Kirby vacuum cleaners. But
hey, Kirby vacuum cleaners used to be the shit. I had the G7 and the G9.
Obviously, she did really good that day when she came to my house, and I wasn't.
I thought you said the curvy girl. You said the curvy. She sold vacuums.
Kirby vacuum cleaner girl.
Oh, the vacuum girl took your dude.
Damn.
She sucked him on up.
That's what I would have been thinking when she was coming to the house. I'd have been like, now wait.
Dang.
That's savage, man.
Is this the only thing?
Is this her? Is this her? No, I'm just playing. Just kidding.
Hey, wait. Never mind. I had a joke, but I'm gonna let it.
She Puerto Rican.
Why you put her picture up? I had a joke. Oh man, I had a joke, and you set it up perfect. Talking about it. She sucked them up. Oh man, I'm just not. Nope. I'm not
You're
doing
reformed?
that.
Okay.
Hell no, I'm not reformed. I'm just being nice.
I saw a podcast yesterday, and it was talking about how men, if like you just said, Willie, obviously he didn't like me because there was so many things going on, right? But I seen a podcast yesterday that talked about how men, you guys know what you want. Like if it's someone you want, you're gonna go for what you want. I.e., like there's not going to be any gray area. It's not going to be us trying to figure it out. It's not going to be
clues.
Once you show a man that you're what he wants, he moves quickly. Yeah. But don't let that make you think that all men are going to move quickly when they see a woman they can tolerate, sleep with, date for a long time, or it's worth getting to know.
Yeah, I think you skip it.
Those aren't the same thing. Women skip. They try to like truncate that into saying that if a man knows, he knows. It won't take him this amount of time.
That was a podcast that a man said yesterday.
Well, no, but like even like when Yonci says like a guy will know, the part that like a lot of the women miss that I think that she knows is like unspoken is like when you show him that you are what he's looking for. Until we know that about you, like I'm not thinking about marrying you until I know that you're wife material. Mm-hmm. So like but once you see that and once you've shown that, like if you say, hey, Willie, what do you like? And I say, I want these 5 things. And you start showing me those 5 things consistently. And I see that's in you. Or even if you didn't ask and you just showed me those 5 things, it's not going to take me long to start planning, engagements and, getting prenups drawn up and all that stuff because I know it's coming. Like, and, typically the men that women like, we're kind of, planners and have our stuff together and we're leaders. So we also would lead in that regard too.
So with that being said, are you getting married soon?
Who? Me? Probably. I want to get married before I'm 42. I mean, at least before I'm 43.
Wait, man, you're 41, so that's look.
That's what I said. I said you're 41 now. Okay.
Yeah, I got some work to do. But the thing is, right? So this is the cool thing about me. I'm a planner. So I have a Pinterest board of like date night ideas, like vacation ideas, wedding ideas, engagement ideas, because I see the stuff. I'm like, damn, it's kind of fire. And I haven't seen it done before. So I put them on
them to me. I can verify.
Let's go.
I put it on the Pinterest board. And like when the day comes and it's time for me to plan my wedding, I'm not planning shit, but I will have some input and a checkbook. I will be I will, yeah. No, her daddy gonna finance the wedding. I'm traditional, remember?
Oh.
So yeah, the dad finances the wedding. The groom's family pays for the dinner. I'm good for paying for a dinner.
I know the tradition. Yeah.
I'm good for paying for a dinner, so I'm cool. But also, one thing I hope that I'm in a position to say, hey, listen, let's not spend $250,000 on a wedding. Let's spend like $50 on a wedding and $200 on like a investment portfolio of Section 8 properties that'll cash flow us like $17,000 a month.
My language. Ooh.
Yeah, but I don't think that I'm gonna have a struggle with that area either. I think I'm pretty lucky there.
I think you should convince my man that I'm
to do what? So not have a big wedding?
Super low budget. Mm-hmm. Look, I'll go to the courthouse and use that money on a house.
Y'all could have went to the courthouse already. Y'all could have went to the courthouse the day after you proposed.
Has he had a wedding before? Was he married before? That's why he
wants to.
Yeah, yeah, he want to have a wedding.
Have a destination one. I'm coming.
Oh, we're definitely gonna be on a beach.
Yeah, I volunteered the honeymoon, so yeah, it needs to be wherever they're gonna have the honeymoon. We can make this one stop, one shot.
I'm one of them friends. I got it. I can get there. Wherever like me.
Hey, listen, but you need to give like some, tell Monte, some of his friends, like what I think I've learned with destination weddings, you have to give guys more time that you have to give women for a destination wedding. And
Oh, we're giving everyone a year.
Okay, for
So
3
they can't get
reasons.
it together from that.
Most don't have passports. You'd be surprised how many don't have passports. 2, a lot of them owe back child support, so they have a hard time getting the passport.
Damn.
And 3, some of us have had, checkered past, and we need to make sure that we're
Gotta
not
clean
going
that up.
somewhere where you can have that you can get a visa, because some countries don't let you in with certain misdemeanors, let alone a felony. So you got to be careful about doing that, because I've seen a best man from a wedding not know, for whatever reason, not know that he couldn't go to Australia with a felony in the open case.
Damn.
So
I'm staying at the resort. Wherever y'all stay, y'all having, I'm gonna be at the resort next door, and I'm gonna just watch over the thing.
Right, exactly.
Not the resort next door.
I know I ain't getting invited, so I'm gonna watch it at the resort next door.
I was speaking it into existence for me, Jacob. That's all you
Y'all
got.
should do
If
it.
I had it my way, we would literally have like 5 guests. Monte would love to have like 300 people.
Look, y'all should just have it like where a helicopter push y'all out in the middle of the ocean. Y'all got life jackets on and preservers, and then y'all say y'all do, and then like the rest of everybody else got to swim back to to the beach, and that's how we earn our money and earn our plates at the wedding. Like whoever makes it back.
You are hilarious. So this is like you saying in the middle of the ocean just reminded me of this. You know how there's a saying, it's scary and dangerous enough being Black. We don't need to do all the extracurriculars that you see other people do.
Mm-hmm.
Less melanated, right? Why did I see this video of a guy who paid money to get in a cage in the ocean,
and the shark got in there?
Did you see that video?
Saw that video.
Yeah, because I went shark. I did that stupid a long time ago when I was on my white boy
You are
era.
light skinned, so.
First of all, I'm brown. I'm the darkest. Well, no, I'm not.
No.
I'm darker than you. But what I was about to say was, what I'm proud of, that water should have turned brown immediately.
Right.
Because listen, I'm in a cage that's rated for shark teeth and shit, right? But then a shark swim in the little peephole. Oh no, I'm doodling on myself immediately. Hopefully he don't want to eat shitty meat, because I'm going to the bathroom. Like I'm going number 3. You don't understand.
It was so crazy.
Man,
but Eddie got out. What's crazy is he survived.
I thought he was gonna cut. If they got something, it would be a mangled remains of some torso.
He got out with all 4 limbs.
All his limbs. I was
I'm telling you.
That's like skydiving for me. Like I said, I think I've done enough. I've gone 3 times and survived. Like, do I really need to go 5?
You should go squirrel shooting. I think that's probably the scariest shit that a person can do. That's legal.
Squirrel shooting.
Squirrel shooting, where you like in the suit where you
glide. Oh no.
Yeah, that 200 miles an hour hit different. That shit's crazy.
No,
it's also it's expensive too, and then you got to hike like 4 miles up, because paying for a helicopter take you up is like another $5,000.
You've done that before?
Yeah. So you got to hike like 2-3 miles up, and then
hell no.
I'm not a thrill seeker like that. Look, I stare down the barrel of a gun. That was enough thrill for me in my life. I ain't jumping on
I had my midlife crisis when I had right after I had my motorcycle accident, and then they were like, you're not gonna walk. But then I was walking and running like Ironman races and shit. So I just went through this phase. I went through this phase where I was just like, let's see if I can actually kill myself, or if you're saying if it's gonna be fun. And then I'm still here. So
Willie, man, he didn't. It ain't nothing that he ain't been through in life.
Like, bungee jumping? I love bungee jumping.
I almost died. I had a car accident, and I ran marathons after that. And I went to the military and all. Yeah, I've owned this business. I've owned that business. I've owned this type of business. Oh yeah, I've owned the daycare. I've owned real estate.
He ain't leaving nothing on the table. Look.
Yeah, I ain't fucking with a daycare yet. I don't like kids that much.
That was me one. I saw the craziest video. Oh my God. Did you guys see the one where the police officer put the woman in handcuffed her, put her in the back of the squad car, and thought that it was smart to have the squad car parked on train tracks?
Oh,
did you guys see that video? That was up there with trauma with the shark video. That was crazy. And needless to say, a train came and the lady is not with us anymore, and you hear the police like, I can imagine how much the family must have sued for, but that's I can imagine being
How did that happen? Like, yeah,
in there
You gotta
handcuffed.
remember
That was on purpose. Somebody paid him to do that.
That was crazy.
We also got to remember, like, to be a police officer, you don't necessarily need a high IQ, and you don't need to have, like, it's one of the easiest things you can do is be a police officer.
Yeah,
I'll be it's crazy. I'll be looking at police officers fight sometimes. I'll be like, they don't teach you how to fight.
No, right? I don't think they do.
They don't.
No,
Hey,
they don't.
I say that being a police officer is, a lot of people give military a hard time because it's not hard to get into the military. I'd say the police department is like it's like 2 or 3 steps below that. So, because
it's crazy.
Yeah,
I actually dated a police officer. Yeah.
I have too, and I'll never do it again.
I have too.
Like, that's why you got a warrant. The first time that came up in an argument, I knew that I was never dating a cop, and it was over.
Whoa!
It was for a traffic ticket. Like, but she brought it up like she had known for a while and didn't say nothing. It was letting me like ride around, knowing I can get pulled over any day for a ticket from like 2019. So
that is
wild. Can you clean that up for you?
I'm cool.
Damn.
So, how many of you guys use Chat GPT? I know your answer.
Me every day, all day.
I use a lot of Gemini. I love Gemini.
Yeah, use Gemini.
Gemini.
So,
and how many people use it properly?
I really enjoy ChatGPT, but I keep seeing people do really cool stuff with talking head videos and animations. So I said, let me try this out.
Oh, I
It's
saw
easy,
that.
They said.
Did you
Just
see
use
mine?
this prompt, they said.
Yeah.
This is the BS that ChatGPT gave me. I put up an actual photo of me. Let me show you the photo that I actually put in the prompt. And I kept saying, this ain't me. And ChatGPT said, oh, my bad. I'm gonna not edit your picture at all. I'll just use your photo. And then kept putting this back in. Okay.
Hey, for pictures, you gotta use DeepSeek.
Hey, wait a minute. I don't know. Hey, Willie, you seen Yonci in real life. Which is the real Yonci? Like, is this picture?
This is a filter what you're seeing right now.
Hey, first of all, don't put me in that. Second of all, she looks the same way she does on camera and off camera. But
which camera? Look, this one over here to the right, or the one?
No, that one looks like she was in that movie Smile.
Oh, I was thinking that.
That's what, like, she looked like she got that smile demon is about to go kill somebody.
I put this photo, and this is what they gave me. I said, put it in a laptop, and I want to show somebody, getting coaching. And this is what they said. I said, give me a white shirt and put me in the laptop screen. Really? And that's not even the worst one.
Damn.
It's hard out here.
That's definitely not you.
Like you were trying out for the color purple or something.
Y'all see, you got to do the thing where they make you the little action figure thing. I did that and posted it on my story.
Oh, you don't. I'll have to DM me that privately. I don't think I want that out there. I did do it. I did it today. And oh my God. Okay, I gotta see which one.
Really, Willie? Oh, see, you like me, man. I walked in there and I looked at the cage and I'm like, if something happens, how the hell am I gonna get out this cage with these tigers? But they was.
I told that man, y'all better give him an extra shot of that sedation shit.
Right, exactly.
Right, and that's why I didn't go do the one where you play with the cubs. I'm not about to go play with that big ass tiger's kids. Like, it's bad enough. I gotta be a G because the girl that I'm with, I can't let her see no fear in me. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because like we're in Thailand, so I gotta go over here and get on this big ass cat. Like, so I took a picture of it and I just like leaned on it a little bit. But what you don't see in that video is like a little bit before she looked back at me and was like, I'll eat you. Like, I could see it in her eye. I spoke tiger that day.
I post mine.
That's the one time you didn't want her looking back at you, huh?
No, I said that was the first time I saw a P word that I didn't want to eat. They wanted to eat me. And yeah, I got a lot of that was the I've never done that shit again.
Wow.
That's what I said. I scratched it off the list.
Yeah, I'm cool.
They had to squirt water in mine face, I guess, to wake him up.
Hell no. Leave him sleep.
And I petted him from the back,
Mm.
like far from the back. I made sure I didn't go towards the front.
When I did the shark cage thing, it was 2 girls I was with. We was getting in the water. I was like, hey, real quick, either one of y'all on your period, because I'm not going with y'all. And then they were like, are you serious? I'm like, yes. I'm like 1,000,000,000%. And they were like, no. I was like, okay, cool. All right, we're good.
They shouldn't even want to get in if they're on their period.
They didn't care. They, this shit was free, and it was a bunch of us. But the group that I went with just had the 2 girls, and I was like, listen, don't lie to me, because if I get bit by Meg or Great White or Jaws because you was in the ocean medium rare, I'm gonna be pissed.
I'm done. So a lot of animals, even the ones that are not the big quote unquote scary ones, if you're actually around them, they can be scary. And like when I was little, we went to the circus and we had an opportunity to ride an elephant. Once I actually got on the back of the elephant, I was like, dang, 1, they're crazy tall. And then 2, they're so wide. So your feet are like in a split. You can't, it's not like a horse. You can put them on the side. But that was just like, whoa, this is a really, really big animal. I remember the weirdest animal I've ever been afraid of was a squirrel. I was in a park and we were playing tennis. And so we had sat down to just chill or whatever in between matches. And this squirrel was standing there, kind of standing there watching us. And I was like, oh, that's cute. Until he kept coming a little bit closer and a little bit closer. And I was just like, this is not going to be cute. He just like bites me or something. Lord knows if he has rabies or whatever. And so I've been scared. It's just like animals, they're so unpredictable.
When I went to Dubai, I think that scariest one was a camel for me. I didn't realize, like you said, how tall they were. And then like that was my first time ever being on an animal.
And camels are moody.
Yeah, it was 110 degrees. And I was like, can we hurry up, go in a circle and come back?
Right.
Damn, I miss it. I miss it over there, man. I want to go back.
Did you? I'll take a job over there.
I lived over there for a while.
Did you?
Yeah, I was one of them guys that I went to Bahrain and said I wasn't coming back home. So I just stayed over there for the rest of my career.
Would you guys do the fish thing where you put your feet in that?
I did. That is an uncomfortable feeling.
I just feel like
it's like them pins. You ever had what did I get? Migraines. What is that called? Yes, I had that for migraines. That's what it feel like on your feet.
No.
In Mexico. Like they sticking them little things.
That would freak me out.
They grabbing it. That was cool. In Mexico. I only lasted like 5 minutes, but
I had a weird story, my last animal story. So I was with my best friend.
Not an animal. I like them too.
She we're on the beach, and I remember she's wearing this hat, and we were just being stupid. We had like crackers or something. And so we saw seagulls, kind of flying. And so one of us had the bright idea to dare my best friend to put one of the crackers on her head. I swear to God, it was like the sky got dark because we thought, oh, there's a couple seagulls. The sky got dark. So they did some kind of sound that only birds could hear. Oh, we were so terrified. It was like that 70s movie Birds. And they all just started descending down. And we were just screaming, like, if this is how it ends, we get pecked to death by some seagulls. But all these little things are cute in the movies. And then it's like,
tell you up on them.
Like,
yeah. Like, I don't think I'm really scared of snakes, but I can say that, like, I've never been that close on one to say if I'm really scared of them. Like, I've never had to pick up one, or like, I be watching all these shows, like, I'll do that. And when they be playing with snakes, like, I think I'll do that. And then I'll be like,
Don't y'all live in the South? Wait a minute. Y'all don't have snakes in Texas?
There was
not in this. Not in the civilized part, bro.
Right. I ain't seen no snake around here.
No, Monte and I went fishing. It was one of the first times he took me fishing. And he likes to fish on the, like, just standing on the edge of the water. So we were like in the grass, and he had caught 2 really big sized fish. So he has this net, and of course the fish are living. So he'll leave the net dangling in the water at the edge so they can stay in the water until it's time to leave, and then you take them out. And so he's just fishing. And I was like, honey, back up. And he said he's so impressed because I said it so calmly. The snake was like this wide around. It was huge. And he came up, and he just started coming up onto the grass. and we realized that he was coming for the fish, and he just opened his mouth and gulped down. I'm talking, this fish was like probably this big. And so he just opened that thing. We have a video of it, and I added all the shark music, the Jaws music. But it was just really scary because he didn't see it coming. But he shows it to me all the time. It's like, oh, snake over there, and you'll see him in the water. But that's why people go swimming. I'm like, why? Why would you? You could not pay me. So and I don't know why we're all so gross out. I would never want to touch anything. Like I wouldn't want to touch a lizard, a snake, anything with like that reptile. It just grosses me out.
So Yonci, since I'm newer here, when are you gonna have the next Yonci and Friends event?
So I swore I would never do another event. I don't like doing in-person events because it is just so much work. So it's not hard in a sense, but it's so hard because people are so fickle. And so getting people to like commit, you have to do so much work ahead of time. And then you don't know people are actually coming. And so then you're dealing with like RSVPs. The only reason I even did the first one is because we had a sponsor who sponsored literally everything except probably my dress that I wore. And so that's the only way it was anywhere near enjoyable, because I was like, I know I have a set budget. But if we had people who were like, I know she's going to put a good event on, so I'm just going to get my stuff ahead of time, then it would be more fun because then I would know exactly how much I have to budget, and then we could put it together. So the only way I would really do something is if I was already going to be somewhere and it was like, hey, meet me at this spot. But like pulling out all the stops like I did that time.
I feel like it's very easy. You just it's just all about marketing, and you'll probably just didn't really do that. But I think
right.
I got people. I don't market though. I got people though. I can definitely let you know what you need to be, and I'm sure Willie know too. But if you just literally start with your like visually what you want to promote and market, like you can get so many people, especially if you utilize ads. Like if you have somebody who knows how to utilize ads and target people.
Have you worked with people though before?
I'm sorry?
Have you worked with people? Because when you add the people, when you add the people dynamic, people are like, who's gonna be there? Okay, well, what's the location? Like, there's so many.
They ain't your people. Then I feel like
if you just most people who like do what you do, they have no idea how to actually run a business, right? So if you actually really properly marketed these events and stuff like that, if you never, of course it's not what you do normally, but if you really properly marketed one of these events, you would get a lot of people to show up that you probably never met before.
I would show up.
Yeah, if you really if it depends on how whatever your marketing comes across to that person. Does it look janky? Does it look like, oh, there's a dating event here, let me send it to my friends? And it just depends on how your your creatives are.
So what's interesting is when I did this for fun, I would travel all over and I would get a bunch of people to show up. That's actually how I fell in love with Texas. So I would come out here hosting, hey, I'm going to be in Dallas, pull up. Hey, I'm in Atlanta, pull up, whatever. And I even hosted events here. I got hired to host one of the restaurant openings. But what I found is that when it comes to spending, it causes, it's a different dynamic. So that's why I say, I believe you. I have no reason to think it's not true. I would need someone to do it because just seeing what I've seen, people are so.
You know what I would do? I would get some like the most attractive men that I know to like really actually be in whatever I shoot. I probably go out and I probably like.
Sound familiar, Willie?
I would literally get these guys and I would shoot my creatives with them because that'll get all the girls to go. They see men who look like they honestly, well, most likely are out of their league, but I would use those men. I would use
some of them 1,000 men in the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they would, they see some tall, in shape men, look nice, clean cut, and of course they're gonna think that's what they are able to achieve. Yeah, and so, I would use them.
You know who did that recently?
Who?
Kendra G, and she got ripped alive.
Did she use like men that look like strippers?
Dallas, I saw the one in Dallas. I saw it look lit online.
It wasn't even that bad. So this is what had happened. Okay, allegedly through somebody who was filming and telling the story who'd gotten there. This was at, I think, North Carolina.
Oh.
And she was promoting this event. The tickets, people were buying, a lot of tickets. She got there, and when she got there, she was shocked to see just all women. It was all women. And then she found out that there were upstairs and a downstairs. And earlier in the night, either Kendra herself or her crew said, hey, these guys, pick who you want to come upstairs with you. So out of like hundreds of women, there were like 5 men or something. It was something like crazy. And so, of course, they picked like the most beautiful. And so, but the girl was saying, oh my God, all the guys were like 5'10" and under, and they were she was saying how the guys weren't even that attractive. And so, but when the video was posted, it was filmed in a very creative way where you see men and women, but it's the cream of the crop in the upstairs room.
You gotta do it. You gotta collaborate also, because I just thought about that aspect of like, you can get a lot of women, but it's the men. I would collaborate with like one of those, depending on where you are. Like, it's a lot of Houston club promoters, like guys who like are in that young black successful scene. I would collaborate with one of those guys and say, hey, this is what I want to do. How can we kind of work together? Because they know the guys who come out and who are the guys that the girls want.
That
so
guy,
here's the curveball.
It's a guy in Dallas. I know you've been in Dallas before, and I'm gonna
more in Dallas.
I'm 2 hours away, but that guy more in the city.
More in Dallas, more in the city.
I feel like he always has bringing out a mix of men and women. Maybe you can link up with him, because I feel like I'm about to go to his events, because I keep saying I'm gonna drive to Dallas just to go to his events.
We actually know each other. We've talked about collaborating. What's interesting is that so this post was inspired by I think it was Black Love Page, which has like millions of followers. And they said they threw a singles event, and out of hundreds of women who RSVP'd, there were like 3 men, or it was something crazy. And I thought, oh my gosh,
go ahead.
With someone that has millions of followers, like that's crazy. So I did a post at Yonci Nation. I said, why don't you guys go to the singles events? And the men were all saying why they don't like them. So they said, the men who get women, who women actually find desirable, they don't struggle. Because right now it's a man's world as far as dating. The guys who are actually in shape, taller than 5'10", have, are articulate and somewhat attractive. They are winning right now because there's so many incels out there. So the type of guys who do need help, they're ashamed to go to an event like this because they don't want to admit that they need help. And 2, they said they feel uncomfortable when no one is coming to talk to them. And it's like being rejected 10 million times over. So it's a very interesting dynamic. So the end result that I concluded is that you have to, if you're going to be successful marketing a singles event, you cannot call it a singles event.
I was just about to say, just do Yonci and friends.
It has to just be a get together with activities. And like I said, when I would host these things before where it was just free, I would get a lot of very eligible bachelors, coming out and mingling. So it's just one of those things where it takes so much work to put it together that it ends up just being really transparent. It just ends up not being worth all the effort. But it's unfortunate because I have a handful of people who are super dedicated. You got people like, oh my God, how did I just blank her name? Just Lynette. Like, she's like, wherever it's going to be, just tell me and I'll buy the ticket, and she came out to the other ones. I have a handful of people like that. But not everybody is like that. So it is, everyone's like, oh my God, if I had your audience, I would do this thing.
You gotta connect with
I would definitely try to help.
There are a lot of men who have men's groups, like, and you got to connect with them, because there are a lot of guys who are, popular, and they got people who follow them and learn about real estate, and they learn about money and stuff like that. But it's a men's group, so you just gotta find who to connect with.
I think you should do it.
I mean, in theory, this is what I used to do.
I wouldn't necessarily do it at like a hotel or nothing like that. I would do it like somewhere much cheaper than that.
Right. So fun fact, Willie probably remembers this because this is where we met, but my name online was Yonci Your Hostess. That was literally what I started out with, because I loved putting events together. I would do the most fun events with me and my best friend. I had a DJ, funny story. That's how Clark Kent and I connected. Rest in peace. But I had no idea who he was. And I was like, oh, my DJ is getting really popular. Basically, like, hit up Beyonce and was like, hey, I need someone to sing at my kid's party. That's basically what I did to Clark. But we ended up connecting and stuff. But yeah, I love throwing parties. Huh?
Sorry.
Oh, I love throwing events. I love, having people have a really good time. And so we used to do, I call it like, bring your flip-flops and your hair ties because you're going to sweat your hair out. Like just really dancing and enjoying each other. And
wild parties, I see.
What'd you say?
I said wild parties, I see.
Not wild. We were very wholesome and innocent, but just like it wasn't the stand on the wall, everyone's afraid to talk. Like we're actually playing, so we all love 90s. So we played 90s music and there would always be really good food. It'd be like homemade tacos or something. And then just
they used to have this thing called Play Date years ago that I thought was so all over the nation. I used to fly to all the different ones. They had a few people that was in different states that would be the host for that state. And it was, they had a DJ, wherever they had it at was usually a restaurant. They probably like rented out the restaurant or however they got the restaurant for that day.
PLEI?
PLAY.
Oh, okay. There's a Cali version of it's Play PLEI.
Oh, yeah. And then the guy I know used to run them. He's out of Atlanta. And he keeps saying Amari, that he's gonna start doing them again. But it was just a bunch of board games on all the different tables. But then he would have like Twister, have a certain different game in them. And that was a lot of, I saw those ones had a lot of women and men, like a mix where everybody just there to have a good time. If you meet people, you meet people. If you don't, you don't. But we're here to have a good time, have drinks. And so maybe something like that. I don't know.
This is what I think you should do. I think you should you should cater the event all the way towards men and then make it like a singles event. So for example, like have a fight party / singles event, like, or like a Super Bowl party / singles event. Like these are things where the men will be like, all right, I'm coming, because I want to go for this, and then also the single girls. Cool.
Would you ever police who comes and goes? Like we're like, look, hey, if you 5'5" and 800 pounds, you can't go. Like men or women. Like, would you ever?
You're gonna have them posting. You're gonna have them posting about my event online, negative reviews.
So I can't publicly answer that, Jacob, but feel free to DM me that question. There is a politically correct side of me and there is a marketing side of me. But this is the thing though that people have to understand. Like people have eyes in real life.
For sure.
We can't be so politically correct that we just deny the reality. If a woman comes to an event and all these guys look like they live in their mom's basement and haven't showered in 6 weeks, they're never going to want to come back again. And then the reverse for the guy. So that becomes a difficult thing. And so,
but the events we're talking about, and again, I haven't been in this scene in a minute. Those type of guys didn't come to these types of things. I mean, you had a couple guys that look crazy, but for the most part, it would be young professionals that was coming out to kick it. So you didn't have dudes that looked like they were in their mom's basement or whatever. But I don't know what that scene looks like now, especially like in Atlanta. That's where I had my heyday. Like going to First Friday, Play Date, but it was a thing, and everybody looked amazing. It was a lot of people to meet and mingle with. Like it was a time.
You can have a dress code.
Dress code was in effect. Nobody showed up in sneakers. My cousin now, he 20. He tells me they go out now. It's whack as hell. Nobody really goes. It's not really travel like that. If they do go to a club, everybody's standing around in the section. Like
I just think that we might have. I don't know if we've lost something, which is weird because our generation we grew up with this. But like my dream, I've had this dream for years, like at least 5 years, where I wanted this private network of people who we knew everyone's energy was right. Like Lynette, right? Cool vibe. Keisha, cool vibe. Mont, cool vibe. Like we know which people are a cool vibe. And not saying, oh, everybody has to be a 10, but everybody has to at least be a good time and look their own best. Like you're not half stepping, right? Whatever your best is, look your best. And have this network of people where it's exclusive. You can't just pull up. Like you have to know someone to be able to get in. And it's very curated. For me, I like very, very curated, where it feels intimate, but not so much. Like at my event that I had, I wasn't able to 100% just be in host mode like I normally did because I was also producing the event. So it's really hard. But the closest thing we had was our Friday night, which our Friday night was our game night, and it was casual. It was a jersey theme. So you wear your favorite sports, whatever attire. And we were playing games. And so everyone was laughing, joking, eating, and you really got a sense for everybody. And so that type of stuff I really want to bring back. Almost like a house party vibes where you feel like you know everyone, but you don't really know everybody. But like I said, I would need to have a slew of promoters because that makes my skin crawl. I hate having to beg people to go to something that I know is going to be phenomenal if they could just experience it. So that's where marketing comes in, and
I trust you with police people, but I've been to these exclusive wine clubs or invited to stuff, and then you walk in there and everybody looks like Neil Carter's niece. Like it just wasn't a good thing. Like,
and what happened?
Everybody looks like Neil Carter's niece. Like it just wasn't. Like, oh, this is exclusive. All my girls are cute, and I pull up, and it's like, yeah, what the hell? No disrespect to anybody, but it's just it wasn't a good look.
Bia's question. Is that Bia? Bia's question.
Let's see.
Because she wrote a long question, so that's why I wanted to make sure.
This one?
Yeah.
Why do you think so many women want men they are hyper attracted to beyond their looks and their league? I've counted so many women like this, and it seems counterintuitive. I don't think that they know what their number is. I don't think that they think that they're beyond their looks league. And this is the thing that I asked somebody, and oh my God, they attacked me in the comments, but they were saying how it was something about weight, being overweight and something like that, and desirability or whatever. And I asked the ladies, I said, if you could snap your finger and drop all the weight that you wanted to, would you do it? And they got mad and tried to change the subject. I said, no, because if you say yes, if there was a magic way I could just snap my fingers and drop it, that says that you are not comfortable with it. This is something that would go back to insecurity, an insecurity for you. So if you're saying, I myself don't even like it, but I think that a person outside of me should just be totally happy with it, that's wild to me. Like for me, I know I have gained weight since getting in my relationship, but I'm not in denial about it. I know that it takes my sex appeal down a notch. Like I'm not delusional. I know that everything, different things would be different if I were to slim down. I'm not over here like, he should see me the exact same way. It's the reality.
That's why everybody hated Kevin Samuels so much, because he was, I liked him, but I'm just saying, I just like the way
Kevin Samuels was a little rigid.
Yeah, I like some of it.
And sometimes he just was like everything, most of what he said was right. I say at least 85% of it, 90 of it. But sometimes I'd be like, yo, why are you irritated already? The girl ain't even say nothing yet.
No,
she didn't even speak yet. Like, just try to have a productive conversation.
Man, but you mentioned
go viral if he's getting mad.
No, I'm sometime out when I am on, I watch Kendra's little show, and some of the girls she have on there, like there was this one woman, no disrespect. I mean, she looked like she just literally, she looked terrible. I'm just go ahead and say it. Her hair was looking crazy. Like it looked like one eye was bigger than the other. Like she was overweight. She was out of shape, and she wanted a man that made $1 million. Like it's just like
$1 million.
And even Kendra was like, "Are you on drugs?" Like it was that bad.
I think sometimes they pay actors to get on there and do that.
Nah,
why not? That's good business.
It might be. Maybe you've been out of the game too long. I'd have met and seen some of them women. Like I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't experienced it. Like some of those crazy scenarios where you just like you got to be kidding. This can't be real life. I have met some of these women.
I saw a podcast yesterday, and it was 2 women and a man, and the guy said the girl's kind of thick, and he said, "So how do she say, he said, how do you feel about thicker women?" She was thick, right? He was like, "How do you feel about thicker women in the dating world?" Or da da da. She was like, I think that I don't understand why people don't like thicker women. I think thicker women, are this and this and this and this and this, right? And then she kept going on and on. She kept going on and on about how great thicker women are. And he was like, "So what do you think you are?" She was like, I think she said, "I'm a 10, I'm this and this and this and this." He was like, "Ma'am, you're not a 10. Actually, you're not 7. Oh my goodness." Everybody looked, the camera panned on all of them at the same time, so it made it real dramatic. And he was like, "And I'm not being funny. I'm not being, mean, but you're out of shape. Like, you're this and this and this." And she was like, "Just because I'm thicker don't mean I'm not in shape." I think that's what she said. So it was like,
in most cases, it probably does mean issue. In most cases, just what that means. People crazy.
I try to stay out of that line because I'm small, so I can't. I don't never want no women, because anytime I wear or I do something, and friends will be like, "You ain't got nothing to worry about because you da 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 da." So I never told those lines or say anything about.
I feel like even so it's different for men and women, because like men can say, like, we can tell you what women like, right? Because we tell you what women respond to, versus like a woman who, like, they can't really tell you. They get what men will have sex with mixed up with what men actually like and what men will actually be with. Like,
good point.
If you got money, a woman will have sex with you and she'll marry you. It's that simple. If you look good, a man will have sex with you. And some lames will marry you. Like, like the guys who get the leftovers and all that, they'll marry you. But if your attitude ain't right, or like if you're big, like a man that has sex with you, you get a basketball player that has sex with you. You get an NFL athlete to take you down, even if you're unattractive and big. Like, if it's just that type of night for him. But to marry you, you don't see that too often. You don't see them guys with them type of women.
There are some guys that just won't be seen with them in public. They'll only go as, like, you never notice. He never takes you out. He only meets you at his place or you are at his. And I just think as a society, we have to be less sensitive. I think we went too far the other direction, because, before you could just say anything and everybody, whatever. Okay. But being a little slight politically correct is okay. But I think when it becomes a problem is when it's like the emperor's new clothes. We all want to act like it's not there. Like, whether if I had a big old mustard stain on my face, you not say anything does not make the mustard go away. Like, it's still there. And as soon as I leave the room, everyone's talking about it. So I feel like, we're coming up with all these different titles for things and all that. But the reality is we like what we like, at least in our culture. Like, in other cultures, some things are taboo and not taboo. But in the American culture, most people value being in shape. Most people value,
Look,
men.
I'm gonna sound like Willie now. Look, you can tell women the truth. Look, you need to lose some weight. You need to get in the gym. You need to quit gluing your head to your head. You need to step your game up and do something better. And I just hate to sound so harsh. Like I said, men will hear that all day. If you didn't get chose, you knew you needed to do something different.
Right.
But women, we just told all the women, y'all are beautiful, y'all are 10, y'all all queens. And for whatever reason, we just didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And if you said anything negative, you hated black women, like, we just sort of we're dog guys for that. And I think they're just women paying the price. You showing up to the singles event, it's just y'all there looking at each other because men don't want to be bothered.
And they never going to take that and accept and take positive data from it. They just going to be delusional about why the men weren't there or something like,
something wrong with the men. They all gay.
I actually, if I was single, I wouldn't mind singles events, but I would only be there because I know I'll be like, I kill all of them. Like I'd be killing every event.
Like fishing in a barrel.
I'll be going. I'll be knowing like it ain't no other guys here. I'm coming in here. Oh, it's gonna be easy work the whole time.
Fishing in a barrel.
Yeah.
But that was the thing. So I can remember going to a First Friday in Atlanta. Like I said, there was a dress code. So nobody came in looking crazy. And so there were good options for everybody. And the mindset was everybody's gonna have a good time. Like that, like coming home and having sweated out your clothes was a normal thing.
Right.
People danced, people talked, and then you went to the Waffle House and stayed out late. Then you would sleep the next day at work, and you were talking about it. Like, man, I had a good time last night. You look, you at work trying to get it together, but you had a good time because you was out socializing.
The time was had.
But now
everybody want to copy off people like me. They want to copy off the antisocial people.
I don't know. I think people are too in their heads. So we used to have an event called Kiss and Grind. Shout out Kiss and Grind. It was in Hollywood, and it would be at this one location. It's indoor, outdoor, like a lot of stuff. And well, I guess they have it here too sometimes, but there's a lot of indoor, outdoor spaces where there's the outside, and they just keep all the doors open or whatever. And people will be packed. Everyone will get their little booth. So you could, sit up in your little booth and everyone walks by and you be seen, or you can be on the floor. And so my people used to always get, shout out to Fez. They would always get a little section, him and this little producer friend, they have this nice little section right for the dance floor. And it was just a vibe. It was a day party, middle of the day. You could either be in sneakers or, whatever. No one's super, super formal. And those were some of the best memories. Just seeing everybody get up and dance. I wish we had that, that back. It's rare. I can't think of a time where I've been to somewhere that had music where everybody wasn't just out having fun. It's usually everyone just like really uptight, sitting in their chairs, staring, waiting for someone to do something, or it's like a bunch of dudes together, or a bunch of chicks together. And it's like we've lost our ability to socialize. It's really sad.
So in Austin, we have this thing called My Auntie's House. That's what it's called. It's called My Auntie's House. And they have different events around in Austin where everybody go. It's usually smaller locations, like a record store, or and have a DJ, and it'd be just good vibes and a space to meet people. And this weekend we got R&B Live, that thing that go around nationwide. So that's gonna be in Austin. That costs too much. I don't know why it'd be so high for me to stand around.
I was gonna say that was $20 back in LA.
Yeah, it's $100 right now. I looked at it, and that was general admission for this Sunday because I was gonna go, and I was like,
oh heck no.
And then Dallas on May 10th, they have R&B in the park, and I'm like, I love stuff like that. Like bring your own chair,
yeah,
and have a big DJ. But I'm definitely going to that May 10th.
So there's this thing called Soul Nick, and it was years ago in Chicago. A friend of mine, he and some friends got together with their families and just wanted to be outside, enjoy the summer. And so people thought it was a thing, like, when's the next one? They're like, we were just having this. And it grew into this big thing. He ended up moving to LA. And now it's the point, it's like a festival. They have artists with a stage, and they've got, vendor booths and things like that. And that is such a vibe. Just everyone out there dancing. It's almost like a hippie kind of vibe. Everyone's out there smoking. Well, we can smoke weed in Cali, but smoking weed, drinking, just, eating.
Summertime Chicago.
Just have something and just come there.
Summertime Chicago is the best thing in the world. If you have it, man. But even then, I remember maybe when I was dating a girl in Chicago. She's a pediatrician. I would go to festivals there. They would have dance festivals there over in the park, and people would be out dancing. I don't know. Maybe things have just changed.
Maybe it'll take like 20 years, and then there'll be some new kids doing something, and be like, oh, it's gonna be this new wave. We're like, that's what we used to do like 20 years ago.
Like I always thought, what I really thought was always nice. I haven't been to one still. Dinner en Blanc.
My friend invited me to that.
Yeah, so
ironically, it was the date I got engaged. So we said no, but that's only because I found out what it was. And after I found out what it was, I could not do it. So I'm sorry if I'm gonna pop anyone's bubble, burst anyone's balloon, but you bring everything yourself. You have to bring your own table, chair, tablecloth, food, literally everything you have to bring. and still pay like $100 and something
Wow.
to come. I thought it was this really sexy environment where you just show up and there's this elaborate setup. When I found out you had to pay, I said, oh, this is like a social experiment. We'll make it sound so exclusive that people are gonna, dip out. And I was like, I'm not gonna pay to bring my own thing.
Bye, friends. Bye, friends. See you next time.